जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Punjab Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दियो।
चैन नहीं है। एक दिन था मैच नहीं है, सोचा था घर बैठेंगे आराम करेंगे समोसे खाएंगे, फिर भी चैन नहीं है। ठीक है, आओ और डिस्कशन करो और एंटरटेन करो लोगों को। एक बेचारा बच्चा क्या क्या करेगा, कितना बार उठाएगा अपने जवान कंधों पे। इट्स टू मच। आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट विद यू, इट्स टू मच, बट आई एम स्टिल हियर बिकॉज कमिटमेंट to the paycheck is more important than anything else. Hello and welcome. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, my two big brothers who will try to keep me in check on this Monday, which is not my favorite day. Mr. Harsha Bhogle, Mr. Bhattacharjya. Hello.
I'm just happy that you've had some coffee before you've spoken to us.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need coffee. He's always on a high.
I tell you something. Coffee needs me.
This is a Chuck Norris kind of state.
Coffee needs me. आप चक नॉरिस पे चले गए, हमारे रजनी सर में क्या बुराई है बताइए।
करेक्ट, सही बात है।
हाँ,
सही बात।
वो क्वालिफाई नहीं करे तो आप उनका नाम भी नहीं लेंगे। तो बड़ी गलत बात है। How quickly he's deserted Chennai.
No, the two Gurgawas can keep on going. I'm okay. I'm happy listening.
Gurgawas. We just on our show Cricbuzz, which we had given a tagline last year to this league review show, and it was called. सर अपने एक्सेंट में बताइए।
बेकार ये बात है। आप कुछ और ही बोल रहे थे।
सर एक बार जरा क्लोजअप पे काटेंगे। मैं क्यू इन दूंगा, फिर आप वो टैगलाइन दीजिएगा। Hello and welcome to the league review show of Cricbuzz Live.
बेकार ये बात है। कहीं तक हंस रहे।
I really like it. I'll tell you what happens. I'm a firm believer in undercommit, overdeliver, right? So if you just start off by saying कि हमारी सारी बातें जो हैं वो बेकार की होंगी, अगर हमने गलती से, हम आप लोग तो बोल देते हैं, मैंने अगर गलती से एक सेंसिबल बात भी बोल दी, people will go, wow, first of all, so humble, right? He doesn't even realize when he throws those pearls. A bit like RCB, undercommit, overdeliver.
Yeah.
What had you given them? 0.0076 to qualify?
0.07, yeah. They did.
And yesterday I saw some people in our stats group. Joy wasn't the only one.
No, because the numbers really are like that.
No, but that was fact. It wasn't fiction, right? That was
14
fact.
out of 17 results, something like that.
Yeah,
needed
14
to go
out of
their way.
17 results had to go a particular way.
A particular way.
Yeah.
So when you do all that math, which is not done on our calculators.
Which can happen, right?
Yeah.
I saw a video somewhere of Virat saying, let's make the 1% into 10% and then let's make the 10 into 100.
That was last year, but it takes time.
Last year?
It takes time to do it.
Sorry. I thought I was saying what a good line for this year.
He
when
had
you're
sent
down.
it to the WPL team, I think. That's what he had done, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
The thing is,
It's a good line nonetheless.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
10 teams, so many games, seasons going into each other, World Cups coming every 3 weeks. It tends to get a lot, right? But we're here to make sense of all of that. So what we're going to do...
3 weeks. There's another.
There's one starting in 10 days.
First lot is left today, I think. The first lot is leaving sometime now.
Yeah, they're about to leave because so what happens is that you go one IPL, you go World Cup, then you go Champions, you'll go something else, and then you're back to IPL and then WPL, and it's half. I mean, it's 365 days.
You might as well get a bed in the studio, right? I mean, there's no point going home, really.
I do what? He doesn't know. Give him one. We'll see.
I had to sleep on the carpet last
We'll
time.
see what we can do. Leave it with us. We'll circle back to you by EOD, right?
If only you'd use the spare bedroom in your house that's full of all the red tables.
I can't. There's no space there na, because of all the red tables. You can't put a bed there. But if you come, I'll put a mattress on the...
But this was meant to be a review only, no?
Of
this
what?
program? A review of the season of IPL.
It was supposed to be a review of our lives, like stealing red tables, where we are sleeping, what exactly we're doing. And of course, we talk about what has happened in the league stage. Now, as you know, it went on for almost, 8 weeks?
Yeah.
It was 8.
23rd
right?
March.
Started 22nd of March, no?
Yeah, so 8 weeks then. It went on for 8 weeks and 2 days. There was a very long league. And at the end, this, as they say in French, is how the cookie crumbled. Show them points table. That's the points table. They don't speak French. So, yeah, that's the points table. Right at the top...
Don't think the French say that is how the cookie crumbled. They might have something else.
That's how the macaroon crumbles. So this is how the macaroon has crumbled. Knight Riders right on top, pretty much undisputed, right? I mean, you look at them there with 20 points. Then Hyderabad, who managed to sneak in yesterday. Oh, well, did they? It was Rajasthan, got that 1 point as well. But that old devil net run rate reared its ugly head and came into play. And I guess Hyderabad have to thank their batters for all the big scores that they put up. And for Rajasthan, it was so close yet so far. They've had a wretched month of May, haven't they? And they would have liked to get on the park yesterday and try to win and get there. They didn't, but they've slipped to third position. And RCBG is a comeback story for the ages. One of the best. It's history. They've written history there, where the way they have turned that around. They had lost 7 out of their first 8 games and won 6 in a row to get to the playoffs. And I think what I've liked about it, Harsha, is that while we can say that, yes, a lot of other results had to go their way, but I love the drama and the theatre of the fact that in the last game, it was up to them.
Yeah. Throughout it was up to them because they could not have lost one game. So while you can say, yes, so many other results went their way, if they had not been in control of their own results, it wouldn't have mattered what the other results were doing.
Yeah.
So praise where praise is due. I mean, a lot of people have said a lot of things about RCB over the years, but praise where praise is due. Yeah. They won their games and most important, they started getting better and better. And I remember thinking 2 games before, I said the elements are all coming together for RCB, but they are already the team that the others don't want to play.
Yep, true.
So if you are a KKR that's qualified, you're an SRH, you're almost there, and you're thinking, who do I not want to play in that eliminator? And suddenly you think, I don't want to play these guys, man, in the eliminator. And that's what they've done. They've just got better and better and better.
And that's where the Royals are, and that's where they're going to be on Wednesday, playing against RCB. So that's going to be,
coming off 5 games. Coming off 5-game losing streak.
One's a 5-game winning, one's a 5-game losing.
4 losing and 1 rained out, right? Is that correct?
So 7 of the last 8 matches, both teams, one has won 7 of the last 8, one has lost for last 5.
Oh.
Literally.
7 of the last 8.
7 of the last 8. They have actually lost 7 of the last 8, yeah.
Okay, but basically one team, I'll depict it to you in interpretive dance. One team is like this and one team is like this.
Oh, I thought you were posting something on Twitter.
It's like this. Both teams can't be like that. Correct. One is going here and one is going like that. That's what the chart has been for them in May. That's the second game. The first game, of course, which is the qualifier. And this is the one that you call the feet up special, right? Because you win this game and you put your feet up for a few days and just wait for all the other kids to fight and play you in the final. So that's the Knight Riders and Sunrisers Hyderabad. They're going to play the first game. That's tomorrow evening in Ahmedabad. Now, I just want to say before we start off, of course, we do a show which is right in the beginning of the tournament. And in that, we do our little predictions. We try and see, who... Now, I know there's a lot of pressure on me because I win the prediction game, but we put that aside. This is a different... Fine. Why do facts... You're a facts person. Why do facts hurt you so much?
No.
Facts shouldn't hurt you.
No, facts don't hurt me. It is just that when they're repeated 3,277 times...
It's the exact number.
Exactly. Yeah. Then it becomes a bit much.
I'm aiming for 3,300, so there's still a few left today. But we had a few predictions. So we went around the chart. We went around the room, basically. 10 teams whose chances we thought were good, would definitely make it, who we thought would not make it, and who we thought were kind of 50-50 and hope things would kind of go, some things had to go their way and not. And this is what it looked like. So we don't shy away from it. This is what we said at that time. We had, so I just want, as soon as I tabulated, I think I got 2 correct. I got Rajasthan and Bengaluru correct. I have not got Chennai correct. Harsha, you had given 4 teams, so you have not got Mumbai and Chennai. Yeah. But you have got Rajasthan and Bengaluru.
Yeah, the thing to note in all that is we were all asked to recommend 4 teams.
No.
And only one person suggested 4.
That's true.
Wait, were we asked to recommend 4 teams? Okay.
And you went 2.
Out of which I got 1 wrong, which is, I thought Mumbai would make it, which it didn't.
So I'm just saying I've got 2 out of 3 correct, which is 66%. You've got 2 out of 4 correct, that's 50%. Joy's got 1 out of 2 correct, so it's 50%. See, I'd like to start with the two of you getting joint second. Would you like to thank anyone?
Suppose in an exam, you are asked to answer 4 questions. and you only answer 3, out of which you get 2 correct. You don't get 66%, you get 50%.
I argue
Because
with
you
your
are asked to do 4 questions, you can't say, but मैंने 3 ही किए.
They can't decide, I decide.
But you are the question paper
I
of 4
decide how many I
questions.
answer. Okay.
कुछ भी.
My show, my rules, okay?
गुंडागर्दी शुरू हो गया.
गुंडागर्दी गुड़गांव के है, थोड़ी तो होगी गुंडागर्दी. ये बेचारे
Arms and ammunition not allowed.
ये बेचारे हैदराबाद से आए हमसे.
देखो तहजीब वाले.
कहाँ फंस गए? वो कौन रसिया फंस गई गुंडों में, है ना? वो एक गाना था, ये कुछ ऐसे ही है यहाँ पे. Okay, so this is what we had said. I think the one that stands out, रसिया फंस गई गुंडों में. But सुनाएंगे आपको. आप अच्छे गाने नहीं सुनते. हम आपको सुनाएंगे बाद में. If you look at that chart, the real interesting thing, which we will come up on, because the one thing we were unanimous on, right? Of course, we were unanimous on Rajasthan qualifying. I think that's the only thing we were unanimous on. And then the other thing we were unanimous on was that Hyderabad would not qualify, right? They would not qualify.
Yeah, I think one other thing I think all of us thought Mumbai would qualify.
All of us thought Mumbai would qualify. No, we didn't.
We didn't?
No, I didn't. I had a fingers crossed with them because I wasn't sure about how this succession would go. I was a little skeptical.
Yes, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I was a little skeptical about the succession.
Okay, on that one, you deserve crop.
Oh, thank you.
Serious points for that.
Very rare to get a compliment like this without a disclaimer. So I'm just a little worried. It's no fine print. Okay. But the one we agreed on was that Hyderabad, none of us thought they would qualify. And today, right here, right now, you're all friends. It's time to tell you what exactly that... Can I tell them? Let me tell them.
Yeah, tell them.
Let me tell them. So friends and some. We'll tell them. So this is what had happened in 2023. In 2023, all of us were very bullish on Hyderabad. We'd all given them a thumbs up like that on qualifying. We said that this team has to qualify. Look at the guns that they have, everything. It's going to do well. And what happened?
Chindia ho gaye.
Correct? Came 10. So now what happens is Mr. Bhogle, with his Hyderabad, the origin story, everybody just keeps telling him, you jinxed it. We got a lot of that as well. So this year, because we are such fans of him, of Hyderabad, of the team, of the players there, I decided to orchestrate a reverse jinx. It's not on them, it's on me. I said we're going to orchestrate a reverse jinx. We're all going to give it no chance to qualify, and that will make them qualify. And for that, I would like some thanks. Gift vouchers would be nice as well. But I would like some thanks. I'd like all of you to make some clips. Call me the super orange fan. I'm kind of wearing a very close to kind of color. अब सर मैं बताना नहीं चाह रहा था, but now we're all friends, so I've told everyone. Is that okay?
कोई बात नहीं, तुमको एक जीन्स का गिफ्ट वाउचर दे देंगे. वो 4 साल के बाद नजर आ जाएगी.
Jeans. Oh, because I have so many jeans. I have good. He's saying I have good gene pool. Very good gene. That's what happened. चलो ठीक है, अब सच बता ही देते हैं आपको. अब जो everyone is celebrating in the streets in Hyderabad what we have done. We tell you what and the exact reason with Mumbai is the exact reason I had, and they will, I'm sure, give their explanations as well. That was the reason why I thought that Hyderabad would not qualify. I thought that the succession plan, I thought that there was a little confusion at the top last. We've seen that with Warner, we've seen that with Tom Moody in and out. We've seen that with Brian Lara going, captain changing, Pat Cummins coming. I genuinely thought that it would be unsettled. And I'm first to admit that they sorted it out, and they sorted it out beautifully, and they were fantastic. And I have really enjoyed watching Head and Abhishek Sharma bat. Abhishek's the batter of the tournament for me. So I've really enjoyed that and their success.
Absolutely. But remember one thing. 51 times T20 internationals, Pat Cummins has played 51 T20 internationals, has never captained. Okay?
Yeah.
Hasn't captained New South Wales, hasn't captained anybody. A couple of years back, he made a statement where he was asked that, you're test captain, you're this thing. Why aren't you this thing? He says, I'm just learning T20 cricket. I enjoy hiding in the boundary. The words he used was hiding in the boundary and bowling my overs.
Yeah.
So that is the guy who we were thinking about when we said
that was yours. Fair. Yeah.
And now this guy turned out, and the second thing that happened, I think what we didn't pay enough attention to, which we should have, was the fact that Vetri was there, and Vetri is an integral partner of the Australian think tank for the last few years.
Yeah.
So Vetri, Cummins and Head together was something that we just did not
Point
understand.
also to note, we didn't see the Head resurgence coming like that. Yeah. Wasn't even picked for the first game.
Yep.
Travis Head was not picked for the first game. He came in the second game. It might have been the game against Mumbai. Hits it straight to Tim David at mid-off, off Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
See how the 2 seasons travelled thereafter. Hits it straight to Tim David, who drops about 2 catches a year.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2 catches every 2 years. and he puts that one down. They make 277 that day, and they say what we in Hyderabad say, ऊपर की हवा लग गई.
Nice.
It's a nice.
ऊपर की हवा लगे, अपने आप से पतंग उड़ते जा रहा.
Yeah, it was good. And see, that's it. Fortune has to go your way. In fact, in the last game as well, Fortune went their way because they played a depleted Punjab Kings side yesterday and got those 2 points. Again, you don't choose your opposition, right? So nothing on Hyderabad. They didn't choose.
I don't want to give the impression it was just luck. I think they played sensational.
No, I'm saying good fortune goes their way. When you're playing well, these bits of fortune also go your way to make that play even better.
I mean, everyone has a catch dropped at some point. What they did with that.
Exactly, yes.
Incredible. I mean, what Head and Abhishek Sharma did. Abhishek Sharma told Travis that the day he landed, he said, "Wo Travis bhai first game nahi khele, but I told him for last 1.5 years I've been watching only your videos.
Wow.
Because I want to play like you."
Wow.
And they're having this discussion, these two. Can you imagine this young kid from Punjab, Delhi coming over to Hyderabad and having this conversation with Travis Head, and between them they're setting the tournament alight.
Amazing.
Yeah, they really have been a fascinating story, and the two of them have got 1,000 runs together. All right, listen, should we just carry on talking about Hyderabad? We can do two and then we can do one. That's fine.
We can.
Is that okay?
I mean,
change things up?
I mean, in many ways, these two were the teams of the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, since we are talking about them, and since they have been a story that we have all loved, contrary to popular opinion, some Hyderabad fans think that we hate them. We don't hate anybody.
But there's enough fans who will tell you that you hate everybody.
But can I tell you, to be honest, like when people ask me, like, which team are you favoring? I said, I've been doing this for 17 years. It doesn't matter to me anymore.
Correct.
I don't. We have enough people we like, enough friends, enough style of play to like every
Correct.
team. Right? A little bit here, a little bit there. It's just too close now, right? It's like asking, which is your favorite family member? Wait, actually.
No. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Sorry,
Don't say it.
Sorry. Okay, they're watching. All right, sorry. Yeah. Close. Well, Hyderabad's journey, let's have a look at that. Of course, Harsha just told you their origin story. There was that first game, I tell you. I thought Klaasen would win that, right? The way he was going. And that was crazy. They lost that game, right? You thought at that time, can they not? They came against Mumbai. They won that. Then they lost to Gujarat. And you're like, we still don't know. I don't know. And then the green flags kept coming, Joy.
Yeah,
One green jhandi after another. And that train just took off like a bullet train.
And they just, I think the big thing was that they also got that formula of saying that they are a team that sets targets. And then when they lost 2 matches, they said that, if you remember Pat Cummins saying that, I think we have to learn to chase targets now.
Yeah.
And then they got to do that as well. And I think that's the thing, that, it is always easier to set targets than to chase targets with the kind of cricket they play.
Yeah.
Their ideal game is to put 250 on the board and say, do what you want to now.
Yeah,
I've got enough.
But the ability to do that again and again.
Now look at the Hyderabad side and look at Kolkata, who also qualified, batting down to number 8. Ramandeep comes at 8.
Yeah.
Look at RCB. Dinesh Karthik comes at 7 sometimes.
Yeah.
Look at Rajasthan Royals. Sometimes they've got Dhruv Jurel batting at 7.
Correct.
Who were the batters for Sunrisers this year? Let's look past Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, Henrik Klaasen.
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah. And then they got a few from...
Idhar
That's it.
udhar.
They've got Nitish Reddy.
Correct. Idhar udhar.
Yeah, correct.
Banaye 3 logon ne.
The bulk.
And they were making 270, 280 on the back of 3 success stories.
Yeah.
Not once did they think, what if we are 10 for 2 playing like this?
And they were. I remember there was
And
a
not
couple
only
of
that,
games
keep
they were.
going.
If you remember who they dropped, at the time when they lost 2, who do they drop? They're not being able to score the runs. They're not being able to chase. They drop Aiden Markram and bring in Marco Jansen, which is like an attacking ploy. You're not, instead of going defensive, you're taking another attacking thing.
Yeah.
And then they go to the Sri Lankan spinner.
Yeah.
I mean, so what you're looking at is that they are in a situation where instead of doubting themselves that can we score as this thing, they'll say, okay, these guys will get me runs. If they don't get me today, most days, 9 days out of 10, these 3 will get me the runs.
Yeah, it is, Joy, one of the universal truths of playing T20 or any cricket, which they embodied. They never thought, what if we fail? They always thought, what if it comes off?
Yeah.
And when it came off dramatically. I mean, on that list, April 15th, they went to Chinnaswamy.
Yeah.
They'd already hit 277 and we thought, man, 277 is a summit. In the next few years, someone else will get there.
Correct.
And they got 287.
Correct. That was, how many days later was that?
15th.
So it was 27 to 15th.
And then another 23 days later, they played Lucknow and they got 116 under 10 overs.
Yeah, correct. On
So
the
it
8th of
was-
May.
So they've told us this is how T20 can be played. Don't worry about what's coming at the end. So these two at the top, and Klaasen, last evening, Klaasen played some shots. And you were thinking, where did those shots come from?
That
So I thought that was the
60
story of
hits,
Hyderabad.
The 60 hits on the back foot, right? When he just pounds it over mid-wicket. That ball's not even that length.
No.
That's a top of off hitting ball. The fact that he can go back there and hit that, yeah, he's just
And
going
he just hits it so low. So it's all high trajectory. You see,
Yeah,
it's not
correct.
flat six, it's all whoop.
Yeah, and how's he getting under that ball? You
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
understand.
So Lara Nair was talking about the power in the legs.
That's it, the wicket keeper.
So the power in the legs and the thighs is so powerful, the lower body, that he can, can get his momentum from there.
Momentum. We talk about Head and Abhishek. They got 1,000 runs between them, and they've got them at, both have a strike rate of over 200, which effectively means what, right? What does that mean? If you're playing 14 games, that means you're getting about 70, 80 runs in every game, right? Between the two of you in 40 balls. So effectively, you're getting a rough math, about a 75-run power play as an average. Now, we have been talking about power play being 55, a good power play being 65. These guys were getting 75 like it was, getting coffee on a Monday morning.
And one day 125.
125.
So I'm saying it's an average, right?
Correct.
So when they got the 125, then you started thinking, 80, 85 for them is like, well, I can't say baएं हाथ का खेल because they're both left-handed. दाएं हाथ का खेल, उल्टे हाथ का खेल. But just the way they were doing it, they showed how it's played. I'll tell you what, Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan and these two, this was proper power play fear. It's fear, right? As a bowling team, you're fearful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you talked about the power play. Within 4 or 5 overs, they're thinking, where is this game going? How do we stop this runaway train?
Yep.
And that can hurt you because you think, एक top पे लग जाएगा, एक यहाँ लग जाएगा, and next thing you know, हाँ लग जाएगा, लेकिन scoreboard देखो.
Yeah.
Scoreboard is 80, 85, 90, and I was lucky. I did a lot of those games, and I promise you, every game you went to for Hyderabad, you said, is this going to go on? Because we were clouded by our past. We were thinking, कि नहीं हो सकता. And they redefined. So I think of the many stories of this year's IPL, the fact that these two just redefined what it was to open the batting was one of the biggest.
For me, it's like England in ODIs. They just changed the way ODIs were played. I think these two for the IPL have set a template, which the other teams are also following now, but they have just done it in such an incredible way.
So you're saying an Australian and a Kiwi basically adopted baseball, which is basically a Kiwi, right?
Exactly.
But the Kiwi is Aussie now.
Yeah, the
Kiwi
Kiwi.
is virtually Aussie now.
Yeah, so there you go. So two Aussies basically adopted baseball for T20 cricket and just showed you how it's done. Well, that's actually been fantastic. Abhishek, for me, definitely batter of the tournament. Young guy.
46s
Yeah.
hasn't, what is a perfect T20 template? 46s hasn't faced 30 balls in any of his innings.
Yeah.
So less than 30 balls.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that we used to have people saying, no, you're the lead batter, bat through, play 50 balls. No, you don't play 50 balls. He didn't play 30 balls once.
Yeah, he was...
Can you imagine if he had what would have happened? It's not saying don't ever play 30 balls,
but
he changed
he
games
kept
in that
taking
much
chances.
time.
Yeah.
He was the typical template of go big or go home. So he was really doing that. And he'd go big and he'd send the opposition home. All right, if I was to round it up for them, if you had to retain one foreign player and one Indian player, who would that be?
One foreign player. Again, now I'm going to say it because I have no other choice to say. The foreign player retain is Pat Cummins because I think the way he's
100%.
changed this team is...
100% you retain Pat Cummins.
Okay.
For me, Pat Cummins and Abhishek Sharma.
Yeah. Abhishek Sharma, excellent. I think this team, there have been two teams essentially which have shown a lot of new Indian players, and the Indian players doing well. I think Hyderabad was one. Indian players did well. The other was Punjab. Actually, their Indian players did well as well. But we'll come to that later. But here, definitely the Indian players, whether it's Nitish Kumar Reddy, or somebody who we saw, Natarajan, come back from injuries.
Bhuvi did well.
Bhuvi was really good as well. So there was some Indian stories in there as well.
But they'll be sweating over the retention rules because normally retention rule is no more than 2 overseas players, right?
Yeah.
And they want Head, they want Klaasen, they want Cummins.
Yeah.
So they'll be sweating a little bit on. They'll be one of the teams that say, have 8 retentions.
Yeah, true. Could be. All right. We're going from 2 to 1 now. because they have just, oh man, they have played such amazing cricket. I'm talking about the Knight Riders. So KKR got GG back in charge, and we know how well that partnership works. Of course, trophy in
G&G?
G&G.
That partnership.
That partnership. The 2012, 2014 trophies coming in. And I think Gautam has said enough times, Joy, that he had the autonomy, he was given the power to run the team that the way he wanted to run it, to back his thought and philosophy.
Absolutely. He was given that, and I think he's done an absolutely, I mean, all the advantage he had was the two main stalwarts of the team were people he has picked personally in an auction.
Oh,
he has gone in 2012 and said, we've got to buy Sunil Narine at any price, because we were playing a practice match before a Champions League in 2011 in Bangalore, and Gautam couldn't pick Sunil. And if Gautam can't pick a spinner, he says, we got it. So he's picked him. In 2014 auction, everything is over, and he says, we've got some money left. Any guy who can bowl at 140 and whack the ball is worth it. So let's pick up this guy, Andre Russell.
Wow.
Okay. So these are the...
Who had been let go by Delhi.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. So he, come to 2024, he knows these guys better than anybody on this planet. Wow. He knows exactly what they can do. He knows exactly what they can give. First thing he does is puts up Sunil Narine up front. And what does he say? His logic is, he's not going to give me anything at 8.
Yeah.
If he gives me something at 1, he does. He doesn't, he doesn't.
Again, attacking option. What we're talking about
Always.
with SRH. Attacking option. It's not...
Staggeringly, in the 3 years before, he was averaging 8, 7 and 3.
Wow.
The 5 years...
And he's averaging 873 in this season.
The 5 IPLs before this, the total scores that he has is almost less than half of what he scored this year.
Less than half?
No, it's about 60% of what he
Or let's say half of what?
Yeah, I mean, ever since the Lin and Sunil Narine combination was broken, Narine really hasn't been a batter, that much of a batter. He's had the odd innings.
True, and ever since that opening combination was broken, there was also Knight Riders not being able to settle on an opening combination, right? I mean, last year, one big problem for them was, and we would, kind of discuss it all the time, it almost seemed like it was musical chairs happening.
It
seemed like they were pulling it out of a hat.
14 different combinations.
Yeah.
It was like IT companies hiring graduates. Do you see anyone, you just pull him in. Anyone who's there, you're opening the batting.
Trespassers will be employed.
Will be asked to open the batting.
I like this. Isn't that, Joy? What film dialogue is that? I don't know. You like classics, you know them. Where it says, oh, but what if I fall? And the response is, but what if you fly down?
What if you fly?
Yeah.
What was it?
There's
it's a classic.
Come back to me. But that dialogue kind of, from 50, 60 years ago is so succinct in its explanation, because all these guys are not scared. They're not getting scared of the failure. They're setting themselves up for success. And what will happen if our plans go right? You got to think about that.
And Sunil Narine, don't forget, is one of the top 5 greatest T20 players that we've seen.
Yeah.
And as a bowler alone, the good thing about his batting is he never plays himself in. Yes. Even at his peak, when Gale was changing matches, and Gale is Bradman-esque. There is Gale and there's everybody else with batting.
Yeah.
He used to take 10 balls, remember?
Yes.
7, 8 balls, and he was thinking Gale, and then he would erupt. Sunil Narine doesn't bother about 10 balls. If he's getting out, he's getting out in 2, 3 balls. I think it was Sehwag who said once, that zero karna hi tha, to itne ball kyun khele?
Yeah, good point. The other problem that they had, so of course, Gautam came in, addressed that, put Sunil Narine up again. That was an experiment you thought had gone past its sell-by date. But this 2.0 Sunil Narine that came in to open the batting, and of course they got very lucky because they had picked Jason Roy, and again, blessing in disguise, right? Jason Roy decides not to come. Yeah. They pick Phil Salt as a replacement. And he was like Phil Chaat Masala, man. Salt. He was just spicy.
Also, again, you see, I'll tell you 2 of the things that has happened this time with KKR is people saying, hey, it's a great opportunity, it's a chance, do what I can. Yeah. Okay, Phil Salt won, top of the order. Sunil Narine always thinks like that while batting.
Yeah.
I'll give it a whack. If I don't give it a whack, I'm not going to waste time out here. But the third guy in the very first match who had a similar story is Harshit Rana.
Yeah.
So Harshit Rana bowls. So there's this great story when he's bowling the final over, okay? And he turns around, and when Shreyas gives him the ball, and we must give Shreyas a bit more credit than he's being given currently, because most of the credit is going to Gautam, understandably. But Shreyas turns around when he gives Harshit Rana, fellow Delhi boy, the ball, gives Harshit the ball. He turns around and he says कि match अभी निकल चुका है लगता है, तेरा chance है hero बनने का. It's a beautiful way to put it, saying that the match is gone.
Yeah.
Okay, with class in batting like this match is gone. So don't worry about defeat. but it's your chance to be a hero.
Nice.
And he conceded a 6 of the first ball.
First ball class, and
it
it's
came down to 7 or 5.
5.
It came down to 7 or 5.
Again.
But you know,
What if you fly, darling?
correct. It's amazing.
It's your chance to be a hero.
That is the story right through this year's Tata IPL. It has reinforced more than anything else, everything that we knew, but it's reinforced that, which is there are good players everywhere.
Yeah.
It is how they are going out on the field. The teams that have done the best are the teams that have empowered their players. And
Managed
allowed
them well.
Allowed them to flower. What is the first thing Sunil Narine says? Gigi, come to me, give me confidence.
Yeah.
Even if you are the great Sunil Narine, you're still searching for confidence. The only one who's not searching for it is the anchor over here because he's got lots of it.
Oh, me?
And genes, confidence and genes.
What helps? What
sure.
else is I don't listen too much, so it's just kind of just keep focused.
The other thing with KKR this year is everyone's talking about how the all-rounders are going out of the game.
Yeah.
The bona fide all-rounder is the most important person still in the side because they had 2 bona fide all-rounders in the top 7.
Correct.
Sunil Narine and Andre Russell.
Yep.
Right? Now see what happens. In your top 7, you already have a keeper, 2 batters and 6-7 overs.
Yep.
Every single game that they played with 8 batters and 6 bowlers. Every single game.
Yeah.
And the 8th was Ramandeep. If KKR go on and win this year, they should have a special prize for Ramandeep Singh. He's the guy who comes in a multi-starter and steals the lines.
But he did, because he was brilliant in the field. You're talking about him in the field,
Sensational.
right?
No, even at the bat. How many times he's come in and got 14 or 5?
He's a Devabrata
20 of 7.
Yeah, plenty.
So they could only play him because they're 2 all-rounders. Otherwise, they would not have been able to play him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one more thing they got right. They got their Swiss Army knife right. And their Swiss Army knife this year was a chap called Venkatesh Iyer.
Yep.
And remember, Venkatesh Iyer has had a lot of flack for things that something he didn't do, which was to be retained over somebody like Shubman Gill, who went on to have a monster season. But the truth is, Venkatesh Iyer has batted at 3, where he's won matches, okay? He's batted at 4, he's batted at 5, he's batted at 7, he's batted at 8. He has basically been the one guy who said, wherever Gautam needed to adjust the batting order, Venkatesh Iyer has moved up and down.
Yeah.
And he's changed. That match against Mumbai, he made that 70 that changed the game.
True.
Yeah.
And in a match where it was getting out for once the openers that failed. So give credit to that guy also, because that's what happened again in KKR with all the good teams. Lots of guys put up their hand.
My only criticism of KKR was what they did with Rinku Singh. That's my only criticism of KKR. That wherever Ankrish Raghuvanshi was batting, and he's a wonderful player to watch, Venkatesh Iyer could have batted there and Rinku could have got his number 5.
Yeah.
I think Rinku became a little casualty of the top order success.
Yeah.
Of,
he was a
of
victim
KKR.
of
That was the only
their
thing.
success.
But now look what else has happened, GK. Ankrish Raghuvanshi is this inexperienced guy who's going out. As they head into the playoffs, he's replaced by who? By their former captain, who's a serious T20 batter.
Yeah.
So Nitish Rana now comes into what is already an excellent batting lineup.
Yeah.
Now you see, I mean, they've lost Salt, I know, but Gurbaz is a good player. Gurbaz, Narayan, Rana, Shreyas, Venkatesh Iyer.
I'm saying they've got
Russell,
opening options as well.
Yeah.
Even if they don't play Gurbaz, they've got opening
They
options.
can send Venkatesh Iyer up.
Yeah, they can send
Venkatesh Iyer,
Venkatesh.
the year they reached the finals last
He
year,
opened.
Venkatesh Iyer was opening.
Yep. So that could happen. The other thing that went right for them, besides the openers, was their pace bowling. They've always had a gun spin attack. Obviously, Sunil Narine, Varun Chakravarti, both retained players for them. But this year, the pace bowlers checked in as well. Yes, of course, there was a lot of discussion. Mitchell Starc being such an expensive buy, the most expensive buy in the history of the tournament. And he travelled. He was expensive as well in the first few games. But then he had the youngsters, Vaibhav Arora, Harshit Rana, and Andre Russell getting wickets. I think this has also been what in Hindi we call a big upalabdhi.
Absolutely. And also you got 2 guys who did things well at different ends. So Vaibhav Arora was swinging at him from Himachal boy, Haryana boy, plays for Himachal, again done the rounds in domestic cricket, swings the ball up front.
Yeah.
And therefore they were using him up front, Harshit Rana to close.
Yeah.
And Mitchell Starc to close, which Starc didn't have a great season. And Andre Russell coming in again to do whatever needed to be done. When the overs need to bowl in the end, you had Andre Russell. And this is a much fitter Andre Russell. What, he got 16 wickets this year?
I didn't know 3 times he dived and got up as if nothing had happened.
Yeah.
Every time he dived, there were tremors in Kolkata.
Yeah, that's
Ever.
right. Knees.
Sorry.
Oh, they're fine.
Yeah, so I actually, but don't write off Starc. When the big players have the habit of doing well on the big day, so don't write off Starc.
No, I don't think any opening batter is writing him off, because that's just the angle, the bounce, the swing. You don't want to. All right, if you had to retain one foreigner, one local player, who would it be? This is a very tough question with them.
on current form, you just can't walk away. I'd look at Sunil Narayan. The Indian player is really tough. I mean, I have I'll go very left field, I'll say Rinku Singh.
Okay.
Interesting one. Because all the Indian players, I'm actually going Andre Russell as my replacement. Because I think his is a skill that's very rare. And I'll go a little more left field. As the tournament progressed, Varun Chakravarti kept on doing well. So I'd actually retain Varun Chakravarti because his kind in India doesn't exist.
You can't replicate him.
Yeah. So I'm going Andre Russell and Varun Chakravarti if I had only two.
Okay, cool. One last question because I know people will want to hear this. Your take on Shreyas Iyer's captaincy this season? He was missing last year, came back.
Look, when did Delhi Capitals have their best years?
When he was captain.
Shreyas Iyer was captain. There must be something about him. Sometimes we react too much to the swagger and the way he walks and the solitaires in his ears. That's our old way of judging people.
Yeah.
He has to be doing something right for a team that has turned around like that.
Yeah.
So, huge thumbs up for me.
Ditto. I told you about that incident with Harshit Rana.
Yep,
that tells you a little bit about what he is like.
I love that.
He knows the right things to say to the right people. And as I said, again, I always talk about captain team and coach teams and, who runs the team. If you know that Gautam's going to take the decisions, for you to smoothly segue into it and be able to work as a team together is very important. That didn't happen last year with KKR. It's happening this year.
And obviously there's a lot of, there'll be camaraderie and trust between them as well because it was Gautam who had given up captaincy mid-season.
Exactly, to get Shreyas Iyer to Delhi.
Yes,
when he went to Delhi,
he had kind of seen something in him at that point in time. So he's obviously, there's a good relationship there. And that's it, because they get good players in every team. You see it. Obviously, there's no chumps playing. They're all pros. They're all, some experience, some inexperience, but they're all gun players. It's a balance that comes, and it's the mahal that we talk about. How can you just unlock the potential of the entire team?
It's the word of the IPL.
Yeah, it just is.
Mahal was the air that you're breathing.
Yeah, it really is. And you could tell with the Knight Riders there was something special happening this season. And it was really great to watch. All right, we'll talk about the other team now. Moving on to number 3. Well, these guys were it seemed like on their Aadhaar card, the address was top of table. Because they were living there, right? They were just living there for March and April. Rajasthan would just look like they would not move from there. And then suddenly, May came around. And Joy, I don't know what Rahu, Ketu, Shani, Mangal happened with them in May. And it's just all red.
Yeah. And
One
again, and they were...
One ball.
Yeah.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling to Rovman Power.
Yeah, one ball,
to get a one ball. All the debate around what if it was not out? Is that LBW law correct? Is the DRS correct? What should you do? But after that, they haven't won a game.
Yeah. Wow.
They haven't won a game. And they were so close to going to 18 points. They were already on 16, right? Or they were on 14 that day.
Correct.
Or 16.
16.
They were on 16.
They haven't won a game since then.
So if you look at that, we look at that chart again, right, that we see. And I remember about 10 games in, we were having discussions saying, oh my God, this Rajasthan team, right? So they won 1, 2, 3, so you got 7, 8, 9.
They'd won 8 by then.
So
they would have
here's
gone
the
to
thing.
18.
So their 10th game, let's say the discussion we were having on the 3rd of May, right? Or before their 7th of May game, that they lost by 20 runs.
Yes.
When we were talking before that game, they had played 10 and they'd won 8.
Yeah.
Correct? And what we were talking about is that even the 2 games they've lost have been last ball losses.
Yes.
Right?
That's
Gujarat was last ball. Or second last ball, that Rashid won it. And then Hyderabad again was last ball.
Gujarat was that big mistake, if you remember.
4 players outside the ring.
4 players outside because they
took
were
long
late
to bowl, right?
Correct.
And Rashid won it at that point in
And
time.
Sahakara was mad at them because it was
Right down to the last moment.
Exactly.
And the Hyderabad game again, right down to the last moment. So after 10 games before the 11th, we're having a chat here saying, oh, we don't see any chinks in their armor.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't had one devastating, crushing loss. What do you think? And from effectively the 7th of May to now the 20th, it's not even 2 weeks. Man, this story has changed.
And they do it every year.
Yeah, they didn't when you...
That story's not changed.
Yeah.
They won 5 straight and then won 5 out of their last 7. It's happened before. Just take a look at that.
Yeah, this is...
First, it is just something that, they win a lot of their first 8. They lose a lot of their...
Sanju used to frustrate us every year, right? We used to talk about Sanju because we all love his batting. He would start every season really well and then would just kind of taper off. And this time we said, oh, that's not happening with Sanju. After 10 games, again, not happening with Sanju. Therefore, it's not happening with the team. And then it's just...
It's as if they're saying, मैं सिर्फ 2 घंटे का एग्जाम लिखता हूँ.
Yeah.
3 घंटे का मैं नहीं लिखता.
Yeah.
2 घंटे के एग्जाम में max.
It's like what you were saying I do, right? Instead of 4 questions, answer only 3 and say मेरा 66% आ गया.
Correct. But they have to address that. And in the last game, I think Sanju said, no, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I think last night's game was desperate. They had to play that game. Because if they had played that game and beaten KKR in that game, they play a KKR again.
Yep.
As 1 and 2.
Psychological
Yeah, they would have played
advantage.
them.
Yes. And now what happens? They're going to play an RCB team that isn't even looking behind. That's just looking forward, full steam ahead. And all of a sudden, I wonder if there are doubts within. Their big game player, Josh Butler, is not available to them. And they're suddenly thinking, okay, how do we manage this? So I hope someone in that RR camp is saying, let's go back to the first half of the season.
Yeah.
What did we do right? Riyan Parag, you did well. Sanju Samson, you did well. Yashasvi Jaiswal, you bat 40 balls against RCB, and that's the game done there. So they've got to have all these positive thoughts coming back. They can't think, I've fallen off the cliff, my hand is up there, koi hai wahan uthane wala.
Yeah.
They can't think like that.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, where are we playing? We're going to be playing at Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad, yes.
The only plus is that what they really need is Chahal to come back to form.
Chahal, yes.
Chahal has been a huge, and this is very unlike Chahal.
Yeah.
Because he's been a sensational, he's been one of the most consistent players in the IPL. Just look at that.
Yeah. Fallen off again in the last, and I think
Absolutely.
it mirrors it, right? Him going off the boil has been Rajasthan going off the boil as well.
Absolutely.
You know, they were so good when they started off. They had Bolton Berger bowling in the power play. They had Avesh and Sandeep Sharma back at the end. And they had Ashwin and Chahal bowling in between. And it was working perfectly for them. And somewhere there, I think they left out Butler.
Yeah.
They left out Berger.
Yeah.
I think he was injured.
Berger was injured. Yes.
Berger was injured. Then Chahal lost form.
Sandeep was injured then for a few games.
And that is the other key. That Sandeep Sharma was injured for a while. And
now, no Shimron. Hetmeyer, it just seems like... There was no Hetmeyer.
There was no
in the last few games.
He's a big part of the Royals. We talk about Jaiswal, Butler, Samson.
Since the 7th of May, he has not played.
Oh, he is such a big part because now what they can do, if they don't like the Storm Cole or Cadmore, they're not certain on the big day, they can ask Jurel to open the batting because he's a far better player, is getting lost, and they play Rovman Powell as a batter, not as a finisher.
Yeah.
And Hetmeyer comes back and plays that role. I think that could rejuvenate them.
Imagine if we had said to you on the 30th of April that the eliminator would be played between the team that was top of the table, team that was bottom of the table.
Yes, 1st and 10th.
There was 1 in 10 at that point in time. And first, people would have said, oh, you're drunk. And it could have been true as well. But 1 in 10 would play each other. And to add to that, you would say that 10 actually would have a distinct advantage in that game over 1.
Correct. Psychological advantage is all the momentum is with
It's okay.
Bengaluru.
Today you're allowed. You can say it. Today you can say the word momentum.
It's almost like you're 0-6 in a 5-setter.
Yeah.
And suddenly Bangalore gets its first serve right, they get their volleys right, and next thing you know, they won 2 in a row. And then the 5th set, you're thinking, no, it's the guy who's won the last 2 that's going to win.
This is why I love this league. I love it. Of course, this season has been just like we spoke about the first 2 teams. And there was the openers who've kind of set the template or set the ball rolling for them. For this team, it's been the openers a little bit, like because the openers have won 3 of their games out of the 8 that they've won. But a lot of it has also been number 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 have just been fantastic this season. This is the first time that Rajasthan has had a season with 2 batters getting over 500. That is a staggering stat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 2 batters are very rarely will you see 2 batters getting 500 when neither of them is opening.
Yep.
You'll rarely see it because, top 3 generally dominate. So that's one of the things that you see. And I think that's what it's the coming of age of Riyan Parag. And it was something that everyone said, you bat him at 6, no point. Everyone has been saying, bat him earlier. That's where he bats. He bats at 4, bring him to 4. They batted the whole domestic season. He's batted at 4. He scored tons of runs in first-class cricket, list A cricket, T20 cricket. Then he comes out here. Gets that 4 position, and finally he does justice to his talent.
I love it because this really is, again, for us, it's a moment of joy. It's a joyous moment to see. It's a redemption story, an IPL redemption story for Riyan Parag, who for the last few seasons.
Did you say it's a moment of joy because of what Joy said about Parag?
Actually,
no, absolutely.
But we've spoken about it a lot, saying that none of it was actually opinion, it was all fact.
There is no malice.
Yeah.
Looking into camera and saying, on this program, there is no malice. We just have a lot of fun. No malice. This
there's
kid has gone
malice,
and
no agenda.
Yeah,
There's
I just
zero
want to
agenda.
say, malice, who the...
Okay.
What?
It suddenly reminds me of Jacques
Yeah?
Callis.
Callous? But I was singing the song, na?
I know.
Who the...
Yeah. We used to sing that in KKR, exactly.
Just like that?
Just like that.
Callous? Who the... You can't say that to Callous, though.
He did. And he
One
was
of the
quite
greatest
sweet about-
all-rounders in Test cricket.
And he was quite sweet about it.
That's good. That's good. That's why you say it, right? Because he's one of the greatest. But yeah, again, no malice. The fact is, Riyan Parag, great redemption story. The other redemption story I've liked is Yash Dayal, and we'll get to him now because that's the fourth team we'll talk about. We'll get to him just a second. But to just round it up quickly, one foreign player, one Indian player that you were to retain.
I mean, even under these circumstances, it's a very difficult choice. I'll go Sanju Samson because I think he's giving them something. The foreign player is really difficult, but even now for the next 3 seasons, many people have suffered because of ignoring Trent Bolt. Mumbai should know. I'll go Trent Bolt.
Interesting.
I'm going a player of similar vintage, but batter rather than bowler. I'll still go Josh Butler. I'll still want Josh Butler in my side. I'll still want Sanju Samson in my side.
Excellent. All right, well, दिल थाम के बैठिए, सीट बेल्ट लगा के बैठिए, हेलमेट पहन के बैठिए, शोर ज़्यादा मत मचाइए, आराम से बैठिए, because we're talking about RCB, the team that has actually made us do all these things. We've had to put on seat belts and helmets because the excitement has been fever pitch. We've had to tell everybody to just stay calm because they've given just that level of excitement. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is a turnaround for the ages.
Oof, what a story. What an amazing story. Just see it. This looks like my report card in class 3, but you know, all the reds, and then suddenly you realize
Your
you start
report card
studying.
turned green?
It went green and it went blue at least. Not
That looks like
Class 3?
Did he say class 3?
He said class 3.
Yeah.
You took us back to class 3.
that much red probably was not class 3. Must have been class 5.
I was about to ask,
Five?
was Clive around then? Or was it Bentinck?
I think it was just before the Second World War, right?
At least you've come closer. He's taking me back to prehistoric.
Because Calcutta still looks, you know, Robert Clive lived here, Montague Chelmsford reforms were around the corner here.
Love it.
But
But
if you
that's
look at
it's
that
simple with
chart-
them. Red, green. That's
Yeah,
it.
look at the chart. It's like they're waiting at a traffic light and it's not turning, it's still red. And
Yeah.
then suddenly the traffic light turns green and
There you
zoom.
go. And you realize that
gone
there was a 10,000 cc engine
That was
with
just
500
waiting.
bhp, like it just goes. It's a supercar.
And you know, sometimes you're very happy when your initial hypothesis comes right. Why did some of us have RCB qualifying right at
We
the
had
start?
them. I had them. Yep.
And the reason we had them was you look down the batting order. We said Kohli, Faf. We had Green at 3. Kohli, Faf, Green, Patidar, Maxwell, and Dinesh Karthik. And he said, show us a more powerful top 6.
Yep.
There were other teams that had fantastic top 6, but with that top 6, we said they'll just outscore everybody. They should.
Yep.
As it turns out, Will Jacks came in as well. And that top 7 became a juggernaut top 7 as you went along.
Yeah.
And you see what's happened in the second half? If someone or the other has always come in,
Yeah, in fact, they've done what I call the Gujarat model of 22 in cricket, the Gujarat model of 2022, which is what they had a different person
player of the match.
putting his hand up for
correct.
player of the match. And you see with their wins, Virat's got 2, and then everybody else has got 1 each, which means a different person puts their hand up. And that, we have discussed this like at length, saying that's the secret sauce, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think you look at that. I mean, just 2 for Virat, but Cameron Green, Faf du Plessis. Faf was so important because Faf, remember, had a very, very poor first few games.
Yeah.
He just wasn't there.
I mean, the other day also he was 23 or 24
Yeah,
balls
he
or
was
something.
struggling.
And next thing you knew, he's 50 of 35 or something. Huh?
And if you remember when Santner was bowling and turning it square, I mean, he was looking as if he can't get out. You know, sometimes it happens that players look so bad that they want to get out to allow somebody else a chance. And then he suddenly turned it around. No, I'll tell you, there's one more thing about it. Rajat Patidar missed the first 3 or 4 games.
Yep.
And his makes a huge difference because they didn't have that guy who would demolish spin between the 5th, 6th over and the 10th, 12th over.
They're Dubé.
Yeah, exactly. And Patidar came and did that. And if you see, he's hit about 4 or 5 50s, you know, lots of 50s.
Of 23, 24 balls types.
Yeah. Look at their run rate in their middle overs, right? These are the 2 phases. We're talking about when the red was and when the green was, essentially.
See,
right?
it goes up to 10.18.
Yeah.
Huge difference out there.
Yeah, that's one big difference. You see, I think there was the sixes being hit. We were talking about Virat Kohli and Virat Kohli's performance. I mean, he is the king of the IPL, right? I mean, he'll just give you those runs again and again. But it was the impact of those runs in this season that has been so much difference. When he came into the power play, the runs are about the same. The strike rate's gone from 130 to 160. Suddenly the impact in the power play in a tournament where a lot of runs were being scored, the impact in that power play makes a big difference because Harsha, it sets up the rest of the batters. Also the number of sixes he's getting. He's getting a 6 every 12 balls.
16 sixes versus 37. Yeah. If you tell someone, here's Virat Kohli, define Virat Kohli, I'll say the world's greatest boundary hitter.
Yeah.
None of us would say a monster six hitter.
Correct.
That is the difference that he has brought about this year.
Yeah.
You know Virat far better than I do. All you've got to tell him is, Virat, I don't think you can do this. And then just sit back and watch the show.
Yeah.
Because he derives oxygen from trying to prove people wrong.
From resistance.
And I think that turnaround has come from a fire that he has lit somewhere.
Yeah.
Because every team needs an engine. It's got a lot of great bogies in it. But that engine is the fire, I think, that has come from him.
Yeah.
And did you see towards the end of the tournament, Virat was the Virat of 2018 in England. Yeah. I keep saying that 2018, the test match in England, where he said, let's give them 60 overs of hell. Yeah. One of the great lines in Indian cricket that I never thought I would ever hear an Indian saying. Yeah. That, to me, has symbolized what RCB has done. And Virat is back here, there, everywhere, in your face, not caring what he seems. The good boy Virat is gone, is there in your face. And that has just propelled the side forward. And they have played an intoxicating brand of cricket.
I love that line. Great.
It's been incredible. This is the kind of cricket that we are saying, but this team can play that. It's what we will talk about at the end of our program at Mumbai Indians.
Yeah.
And it is just driven it. And all I want to do is, I want to go into Virat's ear and whisper, Virat, we cannot win the T20 World Cup. We have no chance. And then I just want to sit back and watch.
Wait, first RCB fans are saying, yes, before you give that message, can you please give this message saying, no, you can't win the IPL?
Absolutely.
Yeah, just give that.
Remember, he said 2016 were the two lowest points of his career. 2016, when no bowler could stop Virat Kohli. He's at his peak.
Yeah.
Because we lost the T20 World Cup and RCB had their hands around the IPL.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Ben Cutting said, oh, sorry, excuse me, and took it and ran away.
True. Yeah. He did. This is obviously RCB, like we're saying. We're fans of the story. You got to be fans of the story that they have written this year. And you're seeing him, and it's a great point about Virat, just what he's doing in the field. उस दिन तो सर लेट के रन आउट कर दिया उसने. He's lying down and he's thrown the wicket.
Have you seen how he got there?
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
I saw that. Jeez, he's a rocket.
Yeah.
You can only hit the stumps if you have got there in time.
Correct.
In a run out, we often talk about the accuracy of the throw.
It's how fast.
But the run out happens only if you have given yourself the chance to hit the stumps.
Yeah.
And Virat gets there. There's only two people who could have got to that ball. One is Virat Kohli, one is Ravindra Jadeja. Only two people would have got to that ball. Isn't it interesting that the two fastest movers in this Indian team are both over 35? What does that tell you about their personal fitness and work ethic?
Wow, that is brilliant.
Very true.
Yes, that is true. Player to pick from there for next year to retain. Obviously, Indian player. Let me guess.
I have a.
You have another player?
Dinesh Karthik.
No, I was thinking of Virat Kohli.
Ah, okay, cool.
Obviously, you aren't thinking of the same player.
No, I was thinking of Chiku. You're thinking of Virat. And you're thinking of Kohli. As the Indian player. Okay, all three have different choices.
Okay, exactly. And
foreign player?
Foreign player is an interesting one. I believe that Cameron Green, they saw something, and I think he's beginning to start to show them what that something was.
Okay. He's playing a big role. Wherever he comes, he's giving you the strike rate. He's coming back. He's starting to give you 2-3 overs. By next year, if Australia have used him well, he could become a 4 overs bowler. Can you imagine then having a 4 overs bowler in your top 6? So I'm definitely retaining Cameron Green.
Yeah.
But before we end, I want to have a little PS, hota hai na? PS, PPS letter ke end mein for 2 RCB players.
Yeah.
One is our friend, Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah.
How many people thought Dinesh Karthik would have the season that he did? And I'll tell you now, DK, I'm telling you now, secretly, I was wishing for you to do well because I thought nice guys should do well. But I said, DK, has he stayed on one more year? Has he played enough cricket? I saw him because I was doing commentary with him a lot. I saw how he was training, he was doing everything right. But there's sometimes you feel one more, and I'm so happy for him. But I'm even happier, and DK, you'll be even happier for Yash Dayal.
Yeah.
He has bowled so well, swinging the ball away, swinging it back in. I mean, you talked about when you're down, you say, but one day people will say RCB won so many. And you'll say that about Yash Dayal. And to me, my moment of the tournament is Rinku Singh's Instagram message to Yash Dayal.
Yeah, I loved it. I think mine was Virat Kohli and Ishant Sharma together in that match.
Yes.
They were playing, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the moment I disliked the most. I'm sorry, I'm just going to bring it. I got it in last night as well, but I'll say it. There's a moment I disliked the most was when at the stadium, Yash Dayal bowling against KKR at the Chinnaswamy. And just as Yash Dayal comes into bowl, they play that over from last year.
It will never happen again.
Yeah.
I hope it will never happen
Rinku
again.
Singh was not even, they were not even hyping Rinku Singh. He wasn't even there. He was not going to bat. He was bowling at the openers. Yeah. And immediately, when you know that a guy has spoken so publicly about the trauma that incident caused and the backlash of that incident from the toxicity and the negativity that he got, you don't want to trigger that person's trauma on the ground. Play it on the... It doesn't matter. People watching at home can watch it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to watch it. Because they are looking at the screen. They can see it. Why do that?
It's just in terrible taste, and it's not good for the game. Yeah. No, but also, you're talking about, the message that Rinku Singh sent this year. Last year, you should see KKR's Instagram message last year after it happened.
Yeah,
it was a very kind message.
Good taste.
It happens. It happens. And these two guys play for UP together. And I think that way they've carried that theme. They've been immeasurably, social media is known for toxicity. They've been immeasurably kind to each other. And I just a shout out to all the social media this year. 90% of the 8 rounded teams has been so warm, so affectionate. I loved that clip of Ashish Nehra's son.
Yeah.
Harpreet Brar singing Pug to Ashish Nehra's son. What a lovely clip. That's what this IPL is all about.
It is a great tournament, and it is a great tournament because everyone is giving it hard on the field. There is no rancor off the field.
There is no rancor.
Sometimes I go to do the presentation, and after the presentation, everyone's milling around. Sometimes it's all the South Africans together, sometimes it's the Aussies together. Whatever, that can happen. But you never see one colour jersey in one place and one colour jersey somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that is something I hope never goes away.
I don't think it does. And a lot of times they're just sitting like it's a picnic in the park, right? They're all sitting cross-legged on the field and near the boundary. They're having a chat. And yeah, it's not like our school socials in Gurgaon with the boys on one side and the girls on the other, right? Everyone's mingling, like healthy society, healthy. Okay, well, let's move to number 5.
Everyone's mingling. One of the best lines I ever heard was Mangal Mingle they were trying to get, it was
a Tuesday mixer?
App. No, it was a matrimony app and they're calling it Mangal Mingle.
Oh, I like it. Like you can call it Bumble Fumble. Most people who get it wrong.
Okay, no, then Tinder. Anyway, we are going.
Why would we talk about matrimony on a cricket review show? Let's move on.
Why not? It's important. It's an important institution which a lot of people have lost faith in. To Chennai, an institution that nobody loses any faith in. That's right. It's Chennai. They were so close. They could smell it. It was one of those haath aaya par muh na laga. It was right there. They needed to get to 201 against RCB, but well, it was supposed to be RCB's year. It really was. And you could tell with Chennai. You just look at that, right, Joy? And look at that, and I'm a little confused. I'll be honest with you. Just my overriding emotion when I think of Chennai 2024, I'm a little confused on how their season was.
Look, I think you look at that season in the lens of injuries. And you start with a big injury because see, what have we been talking about? We've been talking about opening partnerships, okay, of different varieties. But the teams that have been really successful have had big opening partnerships.
So they lost Conway, that was big.
Conway was very big.
Great.
Then they lost Deepak Chahar. Then they lost Pathirana. And I think that's those 3 things. What also happened is the 2 replacements that they thought would be rocks didn't work out the way they wanted to. Rachin Ravindra didn't give them enough time. And Darren Mitchell didn't exactly have the season he did. So in a combination of all these you put together and you face the fact that from last year also Dhoni is batting at a position even further back than that. And I think you have a combination for a situation where they're close enough to disaster that luck could impact them at any point.
If you look at that red and green again, they didn't put together a streak anywhere.
2 is the maximum number of...
2 win, 2 loss, 2 win, 2 loss, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. They were constantly like a seesaw. They were going up, coming down, going up, coming down. At no point did you look at them and say, wow, CSK. It should never have come down to the last game. But the one thing I will say about CSK this year is who was the driver in that side? who was the powerful person in the top order saying me. Yeah. It became Ruturaj as you went along. He started getting runs, but his personality is this very quiet but strong guy, but a quiet, strong guy. Who was the one saying, come walk with me, come walk with me?
Yeah.
And I think we heard about Dhoni's injuries, whatever. Nah, he had to bat more.
Yeah, he did. I mean, let's face it. The discussion of MS Dhoni is a bit like a holy cow, right? In Indian cricket, it's something that you can't really touch. And yes, of course, said he's going to play it for the fans, and that's great. That's a great emotion. That doesn't translate onto the field, right? When you're playing on the field, you're playing for your team, you're playing for yourself, you're playing to win games. And I think Harsha's right, Joy. This is the position that he was batting in. Like, you can't be Lucknow about it, right? You can't be pehle aap, Lucknowi about it, because almost everybody was being pushed ahead of him.
Everyone was being pushed ahead. There's one match in which he went at 8?
Yeah.
He went at 8. And I think that's the thing, that if you're going to tell yourself, it also straitjackets a team, because if you say that this batter can come in only for 3 overs, because that's how much his knees will last, then you're putting yourself into a strange position, or that this batter can't run. And I think that's what happened to them also. Sometimes they were adjusting around him to make sure that he can still play in the end.
Yeah.
And I think that never works well for a team. Again, we could have been seeing a different story had they won the last round. Had he not hit the ball so hard, we could have been talking a different story.
It's crazy though, right? How things like this happen. Just to put it in context for everyone, last over, Yash Dayal bowling, Dhoni hits a 6. That ball gets lost. So the new ball or rather the replacement ball that comes in is dry. When it's dry, Yash Dayal can just grip it better for his back of the hand slower, and that's how he foxes. The old fox.
You see the ball Dhoni's caught at on the boundary at mid-wicket. He's about 2 yards, 3 yards inside the fence. It's come right over the bottom of the bat.
Yeah.
He's picked the slower one.
So he's got the power.
He's picked the slower one too.
Yeah.
Just come on the bottom of the bat. That ball is 2 or 3 inches further up the bat, and it's down to 5 or 4. Because that ball's going out of the boundary. And the only reason I said Dhoni should have batted better, I know he was carrying injury, whatever. When he came into bat, there was still fear.
Yeah.
He's 42, 43 years old. He's coming in, and the fielding side is still thinking, kitna marega ye? So if he had given himself, say, 20 ball khelunga main.
Yeah.
Come what may, I'll play 20 balls every innings. I still think he could have changed games.
So that's it. You're not, you're not saying he could have batted better, or
No, I was not saying batted, but 3, 4
balls.
balls.
more.
20 balls.
Yeah.
He should have batted 20 balls.
Yeah,
How
so
many
again,
balls
you're
has
not
he
saying come
placed?
at 3. You're not saying come to bat in the 5th over.
No.
But also don't come to bat. That's too few.
73 balls.
Right, look at that. Yeah, that's 73 balls.
See, I'll tell you.
And see the strike rates. 260, even in losses. Strike rate is 214.
Yeah.
So he's striking at 200. He plays 20 balls, he's giving you 40.
Yeah, he's come too late in those, hasn't he? But him playing just 73 balls in that entire tournament.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you, if you think about it, look at Dhoni's ODI career for India. I mean, right up to 2019. When did we have a problem with Dhoni? Dhoni was always the one who made us, got our blood pressure up. Because we'd always say the strike rate, asking run rate is going out of control, but he'd do it.
Yeah.
Okay?
You always said his pulse 60, our pulse 120.
120. Towards the end, that formula is what changed.
Yeah.
He no longer completed, he would complete 95% of the time, that became 70% at the point at which he gave up international cricket. I think that's what's happening now. Sometimes he's also coming in too late, but by the time he has no impact he cannot impact the match as much as he could have.
Yes. Okay.
And I think that is a huge factor for us.
Another thing that they did, which was very unlike Chennai, was their captain, who actually has been their most successful batter, just his position changing. Opening three. It's very unlike Chennai.
He was their best batter this year. Yeah. So he should have gone at the number that he wanted to go at. So, and they tried moving Rahane up, coming down. Mitchell was somewhere in the mix at some point, but Ruturaj just has to open every single time.
And their opening partnerships again, they just kept making
I mean,
it
it was
breaking.
almost 1/3 of what it was last year. And see, that's what it tells you. Also, let me tell you, one is Conway not being there. But second is Rahane not having the year he had last year.
Yeah, also can I just add to it, what we were told, or what was communicated was that Rahane is opening because he's got a bit of a niggle, so
a calf injury.
he has to...
He's carrying a calf injury.
Calf injury. Now, here's my thing. If your top and tail, right in the beginning and at the end,
hobbled,
are hamstrung because they are hobbling and they can only play in those positions, that can potentially mess things around for those, and the sacrifices made by those who are doing well.
So in T20, you just want options.
Yeah.
When you think CSK, you think options. Remember what we used to say about Dhoni?
That was the best
Dhoni
of CSK.
just took options onto the ground.
He took 10 batters and 10 bowlers.
And then let his instinct run.
Yeah.
You were a little, as you said, hamstrung, even though it was a calf in the knee, but they were a little hamstrung at the top, so their options got reduced. And this year they didn't have the same number of options as others. And I actually think that when they finished fifth, they actually did better than at one point in the season I thought they would. At the start of the season, I had them qualifying, but as the season wore along, I said, can they not? They were that little, on
they had the injuries.
I'm defending for 80 minutes and I'm scoring a goal.
Yeah.
It was that kind of scene. They could still have qualified. And if that one shot had connected, but they're the team that will need an overhaul next year.
Yeah, it looks like that would happen. If you had to retain a foreign player and a local player, who would that be?
So, for me, literally, even though he's injured this year, I'd just go Conway, Rituraj and say at least I have those two.
Okay.
Because, what's your option? Your option is, remember, Chennai has struggled, has survived 15 years by having a strong captain, in the 15 of its 17 years that it's done well. And I think Rituraj, he has all the ingredients to be a great captain. If you bring somebody like, say, a Jadeja in, so if suppose you took a Jadeja instead of him, then the question is who's captain? And I think Rituraj solves that problem for you. That's why I'm going Rituraj.
Yeah, I mean, Jadeja's fairly irreplaceable.
Yeah.
But I'd still think that because they've gone with Ruturaj as captain, I'd retain Ruturaj. And maybe Conway can be found. I know it's never going to be two retentions.
Pathirana.
But I'd stay with Pathirana.
I agree. That's a good call as well.
Pathirana of CSK, different beast from Pathirana of Sri Lanka.
Okay, well, so that was Chennai again, had that sort of, it's a bit of a middling season for them this time. Yes, of course, number of injuries, a lot of key players missing as well. So that impacted the way things went for them. But not seeing Chennai in the playoffs is a strange feeling. A little strange. It's like, where are they?
11 finals Dhoni's been in? Or 13? 11, 13 finals, something like that.
No, 13. I think it's 13 appearances, 11 finals.
Will we see him again? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm just thinking that his right hand doesn't know what his left hand is doing. How will we know when his career is ending? There's no chance of knowing. He doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah, the best part was when somebody in the Chennai social media, CSK social media team, suddenly turned around and said he's released an Instagram, this thing of his retirement or he's changing, he's not being captain anymore. And if your CSK is finding it out on social media, what chance do we have?
None. None whatsoever. None. So could this be MS Dhoni's last? Well, I'll tell you one thing. You'll never know. You'll never know till you know. This year we didn't even know that Rituraj was captain until the very last moment.
Correct.
We didn't know that the captain had
Opening ceremony, why is Dhoni not there? Oh, Ruturaj had Dhoni. Achha, no, he's the new captain.
Yeah. Well, he's the new captain. All right. We'll move on to the next team. Moving on next, we've got top five. Who was sixth?
Who was sixth?
Delhi Capitals.
Was it? Okay.
It was Delhi. Delhi finished sixth.
Yeah.
But Delhi again, it was interesting, right? Because when you look at the young players who are there, right, and you name 4 gun young players, which genuinely looks like it's very solid for the future. You look like Jake Fraser Berserk, as we like to call him, Rishabh Pant, Abhishek Porel, showing a lot of, coming good on his promise towards the end, and Tristan Stubbs.
Yeah.
When you see the 4 of them, that looks really good for the future.
Very much so. And with Delhi, it's pretty much a story of what might have been.
Yeah.
That Fraser Berserk is... Porel was to be the big surprise package. I'll be very honest. I didn't think Porel would have the season that he did. Porel was a surprise package. But their future is going to be Tristan Stubbs.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're going to ask this question right at the end. In spite of what Fraser McGurk did, I still think the person retained there is Tristan Stubbs. He's just emerged as a powerful finisher. He came in, he's a keeper.
Yeah.
He takes catches out of the world on the boundary. Towards the end, he came and bowled an over of off spin. Now, when you see someone who's not a bowler bowling off spin, it's apparent right away. When Sehwag bowled off spin, you knew he was a bowler. Stubbs bowling off spin, he just looked a bowler. So I think Fraser McGurk and Stubbs have been the story of the tournament.
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant, the big romantic story of the tournament that he just played was fantastic. And this young fast bowler that came up towards the end of the tournament and kept taking wickets, Ishan Sharma.
Yeah, love him.
And sledging the opposition. I love that story.
Love Ishu, love that story. Kuldeep Yadav, of course, was still brilliant for them.
So a lot of pluses, but they finished 6th.
Yeah.
But I think
Khalil?
that's because they had a terrible start.
Yeah. Khalil was a great story.
Yeah, I mean, look at this journey, right? I mean, they were just not. There was a few things they were not getting right at some moment, and then when they came right, I think they persisted with Warner. Warner didn't have the kind of season that they would have wanted out of him.
Yeah. Look, we have also seen the last of what was the prototypical opening batting combination that everyone was scared of.
Yeah.
Which was Shaw and Warner. Shaw and Warner used to inspire fear in opposition that, Shaw will come and smash it off the first ball, Warner will support them. They were the guys people used to be scared of, not in the way that Head and Sharma are scared of now. People are scared of them now. But they were the original guys. And none of them came off.
Yeah, I mean, you
Shaw
look at
dropped 4-5 matches into the tournament. Warner not looking a ghost of himself.
In spite of finishing 6th, the one thing you have to hand to Delhi is they took the big calls.
Yeah.
They said, it's not happening, Prithvi Shaw. We are not picking you. David Warner, one of the greats of the IPL.
Yeah.
Warner, it's not happening, Warner. We will leave you out.
Yeah.
And you have to hand it to them. Very few franchises would have taken that kind of...
That's true. Nokia as well, you saw there. Then Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh, of course, then few games and he left. And this year he stayed for a few more games than he usually stays.
I don't know about Marsh and Maxwell, man. I mean, you look at Mitch Marsh batting and you think he's going to set a tournament alive. Marsh did set the tournament alive, only it wasn't him, it was the elder brother. Early on in the IPL.
First year, he was
Sean
the highest
Marsh
scorer.
is still one of, the early stage of the tournament. But you look at Marsh and Maxwell and you don't know, man. You cannot build a team around, I don't know what I'm going to get from them.
Yeah.
And you cannot say that you are not playing in a tournament for mental health reasons and turn up at a promotional event to announce that you're playing in the American League for a particular team. You cannot do that.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That was the
You cannot do that.
chronology of events.
Yes. That's exactly what happened. He announces that he's not playing, he has mental health issues, he wants to stay away from the game. Great, fine, you're doing it. And then 5 days later, you go to a press conference and announce why you're playing for one of the teams in the Major League Cricket.
Yeah.
The point is, either you don't want to have anything to do with the game and walk away, or you do. And if you look at that, if his team looks, forget us, if his team looks at that, they'll be very disappointed.
Just want to come to Mitchell Marsh because, Harsha, we've had this conversation every time and we obviously think Mitchell Marsh is a gun talent, of course, Australia, captaining, etc. But we've always said you're not sure, you're just not sure how long he'll be there.
Correct.
Right?
I mean, Warner, Shaw, Marsh. People should be thinking, this is a top 3 that could take the game away from you. And that graphic that we shown was really the story of Delhi. So they were a team that was willing to take the tough calls, willing to play some really good cricket, but they were a team that was unsettled all the way through.
There was
Unsettled.
They used unsettled because they used 29 players. So they've used the most number of players as well. Because yes, they somehow started getting it right in the end. And again, see, it's good fortune, bad fortune, right? And fortune does help you. When things are going your way, everything goes your way. Rishabh Pant not playing that match against Bangalore. Such an important game for Bangalore. And no captain. You don't have your captain as Delhi. That's important for you to qualify. And you don't have your captain. So again, it's just...
how the cards fall. Yeah,
it's just how it happens. And
I think
that's
it was
what
around then that I thought, for the first time, that all the elements are aligning for Bangalore. The elements just started to align. There was dust all everywhere. And suddenly the dust started to form a shape. You know that happens, you see in the animations. The dust is just forming a shape. And it was around that game that I thought, it's forming a qualification shape for RCB.
Yeah, because Delhi could have won that game and they could have made a serious
Any
play
of
for
the games.
qualification as well.
No, Delhi was close enough. I mean, they ended in 6th place.
Correct. So they could have done that as well. But it wasn't to be for them. Just want to have a quick chat about Ricky Ponting. First of all, I'm still a little confused whether, I think from the outside, you're not sure whether it's Ricky Ponting's team or Saurav Ganguly's team. More, I guess, what we're told is it's more Ricky Ponting's team. If we had to talk about Ricky Ponting, it's been many years now, no qualification.
3 years.
Yeah, 18
right?
years.
Yeah, so no qualification. Can questions be asked about Ricky Ponting?
Yeah. Now,
both of them.
When they were qualifying, they had Ponting and Shreyas Iyer as coach and captain. Shreyas Iyer, a captain on the up. Ponting, this wonderful senior statesman who always thinks positive, always has time for the younger people, getting them to come up. But 3 years, they haven't qualified. I mean, Ponting's a phenomenal cricket brain. But they will have to take a call and say, okay, can we rebuild a side now? If we look at who we've got in the side, we've got Pant, we've got Porel, we've got Stubbs, we've got Fraser McGurk, we've got Khalil, we've got a team.
Got two brilliant spinners.
Yeah, we've got Akshar.
We've got Kuldeep and Akshar.
Yeah, we've got Akshar, we've got Kuldeep. Very few teams will have 7 players like that.
Yeah.
Can we build around that team? Rafiq Salam showed that he could, he had those flashes in there. So can we now rebuild a team around these 7? But mainly, can we trust Ponting to do that job?
Yeah, my question is, why is Delhi the keeper of keepers? How many wicket keepers do you need?
I know.
Plenty. Player to retain, 1 foreign, 1 local.
Tough between Fraser McGurk and Kristen Stubb. I'll go Fraser McGurk, and for a reason, because at the top of the order, you influence more games. So just for that reason, I'll go for Fraser McGurk. It's difficult to look away from Rishabh Pant. I mean, I was conflicted between him and Kuldeep Yadav because he's the only person I consider almost as important to them as him. But Rishabh also brings, forget his batting, forget his keeping, forget his captaincy. He brings a certain cheekiness and attitude to a dressing room which is irreplaceable. I feel he's got that X.
Okay.
He's got that special feeling.
I'm retaining Tristan Stubbs.
Okay.
It might seem a sort of left field thing, but I think he contributes in many ways. You might find a Fraser McGurk somewhere. You might.
You're saying openers easier to find than
maybe. It's a
proper
big call.
4-5. Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
it's an academic question we're asking ourselves here.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm going with Stubbs, and I have a little question mark over Rishabh Pant, but I'm still retaining Rishabh Pant, saying I don't know if he's a great captain, but this was not the year to ask that question because just his return was the story.
Yeah.
There would have been a lot of doubts in his own mind. Can I still play at this level? Can I come back? Can I be the player I wanted to be? So this is not a year to judge Rishabh Pant by. That's my view.
Fair point. Let's move ahead to Lucknow Slippery Giants. Yes, that's what it was. They started solid, looked like qualifying 3 years in a row would happen for them. But then it kind of just fell apart, right? The losses became big. They were the defending champions in a way, right? They were champions of defending, right? And then they started losing games, and then they lost big games, and then they lost confidence, and then it just didn't seem like they could win.
They just did a Rajasthan Royals, just gone.
Yeah.
So at that point, at one point, they are 6-7 wins. They're just literally a couple of wins away from qualifying, and suddenly, it's not happening.
They're 7 and 5.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And they had who, to my mind, is one of the great T20 players of our times now in Nicholas Puran. And Nicholas Puran batted too little. But I mean, that's their plan. I mean, I asked KL Rahul at the presentation right at the end, and he said because we had the power of Stoinis at the top, we wanted to have the power of Puran at the end, and that's a call they take. That's a call they understand. But they just didn't have someone who was going to grab by the scruff of the neck. Something we said earlier about another team too. They didn't have that. I'll come. I'm taking you ahead.
They're Indian players. They didn't get much from their Indian players as well.
They didn't get much from the Indian players. I think that's the big thing, that for them, Ayush Budoni has been now for the last 3 years, he's been, again, showing you something, tantalizing you, then going away. Okay, Deepak Hooda has not cut it for me. Because Deepak Hooda has got immeasurably good opportunities at the top of the order and he's not done it for them. Devdutt Padikkal, I'm really confused about because, see, they had done something for a particular reason. They had traded for Devdutt Padikkal for Avesh Khan because they said KL Rahul is batting at 5. Okay, and Devdutt Padikkal is going to open with Quinton de Kock, and that's how they'll do it. So we'll give away Avesh Khan, though he's a good bowler. We'll trade him. Devdutt Padikkal comes in. Justin Langer comes in around the same time. If you remember, Gautam leaves, Justin Langer comes in. Justin Langer probably tells KL Rahul that, look, I need you at the top of the order. You're my gun opening bat. You've scored all your runs out here. So he goes back there. Devdutt Padikkal now has nowhere to go. So they put him at 3. He doesn't work out there. They move him around. Quinton de Kock has a terrible season. So their only pluses are Stoinis doing well at 3, which I think he got a century. He did something out there. And obviously Nicky Puran. But I completely don't buy this theory of having power at the bottom. Nobody nowadays, everyone says you finish the match when you have the number of balls.
Go. Correct. You see Sunrisers Hyderabad and KKR, they're breaking the back of the chase in the power play. Right? It's better do it now than leave it for later.
Nicholas Puran has got a lot of breathtaking 60s. Two of them could have been breathtaking hundreds. And he's that kind of player. Nicholas Puran is an incandescent talent. He can give you hundreds. So I still think coming back next year, if they have the option of retaining, they will play Puran at 3. And someone will shake KL Rahul once more. and say, Rahul, come on, go, man. God has blessed you. Nature has
I'm
blessed
just
you.
I'm wondering whether he'll stay.
Wait a second. Yeah, that's the question I'm
May
asking.
not.
Because
is he happy? I
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying what is played out. Now, we obviously haven't heard it. It's what we saw, and there was a big outcry about why the owner's having that kind of a conversation in physical tonality, I guess, whatever body language everyone can read. And that became the raging fire at the time. And then there was, obviously, you could tell that affected the team because then there was kind of course correction and they kind of, went out of their way to
Yeah,
show
there was
that
a whole
all is
PR exercise
well, all
and
is
all.
hunky-dory. And while that may be okay for social media, but the way they were playing after that, it looked like somehow the wind had just been sucked out of the sails.
Exactly. They look like a bottle of soda that's been left open.
Too flat, absolutely flat.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And again, I remember when they started. Do you remember when Marcus Stoinis was their second drafted player, and there was one game where he came to bat at number 8,
Yes.
and we kept thinking, have they forgotten?
That was a
he's
couple of
there?
years ago. Last year? Was it last
This
year?
was
Start
the
of
first
last year?
season, I think.
Yeah, might have been.
And you kept thinking, are they being like too Lucknowi? Is Marcus Stoinis being from Lucknow?
Pehle aap.
Please, everyone go ahead of me. And this year they did that with Nicholas Pooran. So somehow you felt like there were just things not coming together at Lucknow. It just felt, it's how you just feel like, it's just a little out of sync. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not fixing.
Also, see, when we first saw this Lucknow team, which has been picked 3 years back, if you look at it, that was the major auction which they came in. What was their formula? Their formula was a very, actually CSK type of formula.
It was.
Lots of all-rounders.
Yeah,
Lots of all-rounders
Yeah, yeah.
play around. Deepak Hooda, Kunal Pandya, Marcus Stoinis, everyone can bowl, give you a bait, your top order batsman is a keeper. So that's how they organize their team.
Yeah.
But what's happened is, I feel they've shuffled that deck so much that nobody has settled into position. So other than KL Rahul opening, no other Indian batter knows where he's batting. Just see who is the batting at what
Could not agree more. Could not agree more. But if I'm LSG, I'm looking at that side and I say, is there a core that I can put together to go and win? And I still think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I will look at Mayank Yadav, I will look at Mohsin Khan, I will look at Arshad Khan, and I'll say I've got 3 names that very few others have. I've got a Indian fast bowling core that nobody else has. I would stay with that. I'd say, can I find out what made Bishnoi tick towards the end of the season? And I would then tell Bishnoi, go home every day, take 20 catches and come.
Yeah.
Because there's a wonderful fielder who's suddenly forgotten how to field.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember Bishnoi taking all those incredible catches?
Yeah.
And suddenly he's putting them down?
But 2 years back, he'd drop only easy catches. He'd take the difficult ones.
This year also, the one of Kane Williamson that he took. If you
Stunner.
remember that one, stunner.
And then suddenly
then
he's putting them
suddenly
down.
just,
Yeah. So I've got KL Rahul there. I don't know if he's going to stay. I just love Joy's opt-out clause. I've been telling it to everybody I meet.
Yeah.
But if they can retain KL Rahul, they can retain Nicholas Pooran. They've got the fast bowling core. Now they've got to ask themselves, what is the air? Because this team has to have that fizz in it. And LSG hasn't got that little fizz. Was it an exciting team this year?
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
No, correct.
Yeah, that's what has happened. It's kind of just, it looked like I think Harsha put it really well, it looked like a bottle of soda that had been left open for too
The
long.
only time they looked exciting
Mayank
was in Mayank Yadav.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's 155 rockets. Love them. Love them.
Yes. Every Aussie that I have met, and every year the IPL is like Serengeti in July. It's the great crossing. All the Aussies come to India in April and May. All the Aussies.
I'm going to use that somewhere.
All the Aussies come to India.
Yeah.
Every Aussie I've met has asked me only one question. This November, December, when India's test team is in Australia, are you bringing that kid? There's something about 150 plus that excites people.
Yeah.
Umran Malik excited us. He didn't grow. He didn't become the player that we thought he could, but he still got it.
Yeah.
You can't say we've lost Umran Malik, but this kid, just look after him. I mean, they sent him to South Africa to work with Morne Morkel. Just work on his body, This kid is going, if he...
Preserve him, put him in cotton wool, right? He's a national
It's going to be a
treasure.
test case for India.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Can India develop fast bowling? It's going to be a test case for India, this kid.
Brilliant. What about player to retain for you, Indian and a foreigner?
I'm just going to be cheeky. I'm going to go Nicholas Pooran, Mayank Yadav.
Okay, that's good.
Let's look at that list again. Can you imagine? Otherwise, with one, you're saying, yes, I know. Yeah, Nicholas Pooran, definitely.
Yeah.
If KL Rahul wants to stay, yeah, maybe KL Rahul not, but yeah, maybe.
Okay. And that was LSG. Let's move to team number 8. Well, not defending champions. Won it in their first year. runners-up in their second year. And this year, well, yeah, that story for the last 6 months has been the captain decided, didn't want to be there anymore, captain left, new boy given captaincy, and then what I think was an even bigger loss for them was just no Mohammad Shami. And suddenly, like Harsha, you talk about who is taking that team by the other team by the scruff of the neck or taking his team along. I think Mohammad Shami, as a bowler, as a leader of that bowling unit, did that. He would set up every game for them in the previous 2 seasons, and then everybody would bask in that glory and enjoy that Behti Ganga mein dubki. This year, with that not happening at the top, really affected.
And then around him, a lot of Rashid Khan was a better bowler last year.
Also, he came back from injury.
Remember
this year,
Rashid Khan's coming back from injury?
Yeah.
I remember chatting with Chris Morris once. He says, when you do your back, you go through a long period of rehab.
Yeah.
And when you're doing your rehab, your other muscles are getting weaker. And now when you suddenly come back to bowl, your back is okay, but your other muscles aren't ready yet. So I had this chat with Rashid Khan one day, and he said, ek din knee pains a little.
Yeah.
Something else pains a little. I don't think this year Rashid Khan was back to 100%.
Yeah.
And there's a lot said about Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya was an outstanding GT player.
He was, I'll tell you.
Outstanding GT player.
Yeah.
So suddenly there's no Hardik Pandya. Rashid Khan is not the player and there's no Shami. And the only person who could have lifted that side was Shubman Gill.
And
I
he
saw
had
them-
an 88, 90 run season last year.
Yeah.
8,
It's
90.
jaw dropping. I promise you not. There were 2 innings. I was working on those games and I was doing this. Saying, Jaw, get back, get back, get back. That's how Shubman Gill was batting. Yeah.
Overacting, sir. 50
thoda.
rupees. Sir, 50 rupees overacting. Sir,
Fine.
please, करने पड़ेगा. Yes, please. Sir, बहुत देर से बहुत serious हो गया. मैंने कहा थोड़ा सा भी करना पड़ेगा. The one thing I did see though, because last year I did a podcast with GT, so I spent a lot of time with that team. The one thing I did notice with Hardik was that he had a lot of time for his players. Right? He was not the oldest, but definitely one of the most experienced players. Definitely, one of the most experienced Indian players. And there was only one, and Mohammad Shami gave that, narrated that incident where Mohammad Shami is senior to him. So Mohammad Shami did say that there was one when Hardik turned to me and said something on the field. And I went after the match to him and I said, whatever you want to say to me, say it off the field. Don't say it on the field like that. And he said that Hardik, to his credit, said, I'm so sorry. I won't do it again, right? That for me is a sign of actually a good leader, right? Where a leader who says, man management is my thing, that's what I need to do. I can't treat everybody the same. People have to be treated differently, and as a leader, you need to understand that, right, John?
Absolutely. Understand your boundaries, and I think that's what... See, when he walked in as leader of GT, he walked into an ideal situation because it's a greenfield opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, and Nehra has your back as this thing, and you will rarely find, even now, of course, Kirsten may not be there with them, as good a supporting cast of, the back room as you will find with Nehra and Vikram Solanki, Ashish Kapoor, the whole lot of them, they come together beautifully, and they've done it for those 2 years. You've taken that guy away from that, put him into a high pressure cooker, which is Mumbai, which is a completely different thing. So you're not going to get those results. But coming back to these guys are there, but the cricket that they played, the cricket that Ashish Nehra lives by, is having bowlers win matches for you.
Yeah.
Okay, batters doing it, having bowlers win matches for you. Firstly, you didn't have the bowling attack this year that you normally do. Secondly, their cricket was about getting 180 and defending it on a consistent basis. That game also now, this year...
Changed this year.
Has changed.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say GT overperformed in those 2 years. Why they overperformed is something we need to study. Okay. Because it was a great example of simple players all coming together and being better players than you thought they were.
Yeah.
There's something in the air in Gujarat Titans. And then Shubman Gill had that wow season last year. Shami had that wow season. But that doesn't just happen.
I want to see that chart again because there's something interesting there. I mean, just the numbers, 8.71 versus 9.61 is a huge difference.
Yeah.
All these differences are big. 4.8 versus 7.8. Number of sixes you hit, they don't hit enough sixes.
No.
And if you see that, they're averaging 6, 7 sixes a match.
Yeah.
The IPL average is about 12, 13 sixes a match.
You see their rank, no? It's the 10th in all of that. So
All of those categories.
Their batting is definitely not delivered this year.
You just close your eyes and say, who is Gujarat Titans? Who was Gujarat Titans this year? You think of RCB, you say, yeah, that was him. You think of SRH, you say, yeah, this.
You're right. There's not a player
Close your
that
eyes and say,
stands out.
who was Gujarat Titans?
You're right.
this
Do you
year?
think Shubman could not mark his or stamp his kind of captaincy on this team? His personality couldn't, right?
No, maybe it's too early. I don't know.
Yeah. No, we're talking about this season, the season that we played.
Maybe it's too early for him as captain to be this dominant
Yeah,
force.
so he's got 420 runs. After an 890 run season, it's less than half the runs he had last year.
420 is a good season if 5 others have got those runs.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not the season you need from him, and not from him as captain, as the best bat from last year. He needed to shoulder a lot more as a batter.
Somebody got 500 runs this year for them. Did you even realize? I didn't. I looked at it and said, oh, wow.
Sai Sudarshan.
Correct. Yeah. Quietly, he's gone and got 500 runs.
Yeah.
That is GT. Quietly, they surprise you. Oh, that's what Tewatia did. I know Tewatia is an explosive player. Oh, that's what Tewatia did. Wow. They had a lot of these. Did he really do that? And there was only one player who did that this year.
Yeah.
And there's one other problem, which is that the model, because, the spinners love him, of Riddhiman keeping and therefore happening to open him, that model does not work in an IPL where 200 run scores are made. Because Riddhi, even at his best, is a 130, 140 scorer in the power play. The one match that they opened with Sai Sudarshan and Gill, you just see the results. When those two got off together and they just smashed the opposition, it just changed the way matches are set up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the model moving forward. They have to either find a replacement for Riddhi who's as good, which is the most difficult thing in the world, or they have to find another place for him to bat, because they certainly cannot move away from batting Sai Sudarshan and Shubman Gill up front. That's the model that's
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, well, if you had to retain one foreign player and one Indian player from GT.
Very simple. You'd retain Shubman Gill and Rashid Khan.
Okay.
Despite injuries, despite anything, Shubman, Rashid, because they're standout, and they are the talismans of that team. That team, they won 1 year and came in the finals with 2 balls away from winning another final because of those 2 players primarily.
Shubman will be a better batter next year.
Yeah.
And Rashid Khan will be back to full fitness, will be a better player next year.
He'll be back to his back. Oh, yeah. He'll be back to his back. He'll be fine. Okay, let's talk about the team that is just such an ulta-pulta season, right? In fact, they normally finish around 6. It is ulta. This time they finished 9. So literally ulta-pulta in every way. Sir, I don't know what to say. This team confuses me. They've just we realized that it's 10 years they haven't made a playoff. And before that, they had a 5-year spell where they hadn't made a playoff. Here again.
Yeah, they moved home and they won only 1 game at home.
If they won only 1 game at home, they moved 3 homes. Three homes they had. They had Mohali, they had Mullanpur, they had Dharamshala. So they had 3 homes this time. And they won only 1 game total. Suddenly they've got the chase of the tournament against the Knight Riders. Right?
Correct.
Against table toppers, you give us the chase of the tournament. And then you finish number 9. This is just, I'm just saying this. We are talking about a team being up and down. We were talking about Chennai winning, losing, winning, losing. These guys, when they win, they're touching the stars. When they lose, they're at the core of the earth.
Who are the 2 best players? The 2 best players are 20 lakh players.
Yeah, correct.
Shashank and...
Shashank and Abhishek.
Shush. And,
Ashutosh. No, not Abhishek.
Yeah, Shashank.
Abhishek had such a big influence.
Yeah.
Oh, this has happened to you second time this season now,
second time, correct.
Last time something with Shashank's name happened, now with Ashutosh's.
But Ashutosh, Abhishek...
People will catch you now, sir.
Shush.
Memes are getting made as we speak, sir. What to do?
Yes. Shashank and Ashutosh.
Yeah.
Shashank, better player. I think Ashutosh, just finding himself, wonderful finisher.
Yeah.
But your 2 best players were your 20 lakh players. Where are your big players? Where is Johnny Bairstow? Where is Liam Livingston?
So currently he's back in England. He's also back in England. Airport there.
It's like,
he left before the last match.
Mark Boucher asking Rohit Sharma, where are you going to be? What next? World Cup.
But yes, I think that they were really undone by... I'll tell you another thing, and we were discussing this a lot yesterday. There's one thing that you don't understand about Punjab, and we spoke about, again, there was another team we were talking about how, in terms of the management of it, you're not understanding what the atmosphere or what the mahal or what the personality of the team is. Here again, we saw Jitesh Sharma come out for the pre-season photograph of the captains, right?
Yes, correct.
Shikhar Dhawan was not available, so Jitesh Sharma came because we were told he's the vice captain. Suddenly Shikhar Dhawan is out and Jitesh Sharma is the captain. And Sam Curran becomes the captain. Yeah. Right? So again, just that tells me is there no clear communication outside? Is there no clear communication inside? What's going on?
Show me one statement saying exactly when Shikhar Dhawan was injured and when he didn't come back, was he fit, unfit? There is no...
I have no communication.
No
idea about
nothing. Zero communication.
Yeah. You're right.
The captain of a side, legitimate IPL great. Give him credit. He's been 15 years in the IPL. He has 16, 17 years in the IPL. He's been legitimate great.
Yeah.
We don't know a thing. There's silence from all fronts. There's silence from him, which I can understand because he's a player. It's not in his place. Okay. But there's complete silence from the franchise about him. So that's not well handled as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if they agree there is a problem, we should know, it should be clear, and whatever it is, they will move forward from there.
Yep.
I think this mystery, like a five find outers, the mystery of the missing captain, you cannot have stuff like that happen.
What was the story with Chikhar this year? I have no idea. Was he going to be out for a couple of games? Was he going to be out for 4 games? Was it that bad that he was never going to play? You're absolutely right. We have no idea what happened. Suddenly Sam Curran is captain. Then out of the blue, these 2 flowers bloom.
Yeah.
Shashank and Ashutosh. Out of the blue, these 2 flowers.
Slowly.
Elucidate.
Then Arshdeep has got wickets. Harshal has got wickets. Yeah. But who is Punjab? And I think if you looked at their power, they had fast bowling. They had a fabulous fast bowler who played 1 game. Nathan Ellis played 1 game.
Yeah.
Now, if you look back and say, for 10 years, we've not qualified.
Yeah.
We've changed captains. What have they not changed? Now, look, I'm heading somewhere. What have they not changed? They've changed captains. They've changed coaches. They've changed players. They've had some of the most fantastic players playing for them. What is the one thing that hasn't changed in Punjab?
Ownership.
Ownership? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I said ownership.
Oh, okay, because a lot of the
Owners will look at the players and say, have you delivered? But what is the one thing that has not changed? Is the problem not there, but here?
Okay.
And I mean, if you want to really build a great sports franchise, you look inward and say, is the problem here? I don't know if it is, but that is the one constant over 10 years. If you changed everything and you're still not qualified, is the problem somewhere else?
It's also multiple owners. So sometimes with multiple owners, there can be multiple messaging.
So I've spoken to few Punjab coaches of yore, and one of the problems they had, or they both specified, and even the CEOs, is that there's so much time spent in pushing back from the owners, from opinions. And it's not just about owner's opinion. It's about owner's friend who has an opinion, maybe well-meaning. Owner's friend who's an astrologer who has something to say about this day has to be played. All that. So what happens is, if you are as a coach spending a lot of time just pushing back on that, the energy that you have left over in running a team isn't there. That's one. The second thing is, they've had, in my book, the poorest performing foreign contingent in this year's tournament.
Yeah.
Who has performed for them? It's the Indian players who've really done.
I would put all that foreign contingent there and say, is your heart beating for this seat, for this team?
Yeah.
It could be. Sometimes we draw a lot of conclusions from outside, but I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I didn't even know Chris Wokes was playing.
Yeah, I'd forgotten.
I didn't know.
There. I'm just saying that yesterday, Nathan Ellis was available. They played 1 foreigner and they
Was
didn't play
he?
him.
Because he said at the toss, we have only 1 overseas player available. And we said, why? What happened to Nathan Ellis? Did he sort of slip in the
But in the press conference, they said 2 are available.
Yeah.
They said that Nathan Ellis is avavel. So, yeah.
I mean, he's a fantastic T20 bowler.
And yesterday you realize they didn't have anyone to bowl in the beginning. Yeah. Right? They needed someone to bowl in the power play. They didn't, because Rishi Dhawan and Harshal Patel would not be their choices to bowl in the power
Harshal
play.
Patel is not a power play bowler ever, nor is Rishi Dhawan.
He's had his moments. Harshal Patel has had his moments. He's underlined what we always knew about him. When the conditions are in his favour, he's a gun bowler.
Yeah.
When they're not,
I thought Rahul Chahar is a decent season.
He had a very good season. Arshdeep had a decent season.
Yeah.
I think Arshdeep needs to go to the next level. This was the year he should have gone to the next level.
Yeah.
That ball he bowled to Travis Head, may he bowl many more of those in the next month.
Yeah.
But they had a few things going for them, but got nothing from their overseas players.
Yeah, it really was. I think what Punjab needs to do is they need to take the Punjab T20 team from Syed Mushtaq Ali and brand it Punjab Kings and make them play.
Absolutely.
Good idea, no?
It's an amazing thing. And the best part of it, what I love about it is one of the few who's not playing, I think probably the only who's not playing in the first 11.
Mandeep.
Is Mandeep.
Their captain.
And I love it because he's sitting outside and he's so happy with his boys. Well done here, Naman's done well out here. Somebody else, Arshdeep, is doing well out there. All the Punjab boys are flourishing around the...
See what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Suddenly, Prabh Simran Singh and Atharva Taide are opening the bowling.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, yesterday SRH were flat. But they did okay. So, like everyone else, I think there is a potential, but they've got to look inside.
Okay, player to retain. Foreign player, none. Don't be mean. 1 foreign player, 1 domestic player.
I don't know if he wants to be retained, but I'd go with Rabada maybe.
Okay.
Rabada Ellis, one of those, but really no.
Indian player?
Arshdeep.
All right. For you?
Yeah, it's difficult to look away from Arshdeep. And foreign player, that's what. I mean, that's it. Rabada. I mean, there's nobody else you can go to. I mean, he's a more complete player than a bowler than Nathan Ellis.
So Kings will do last year what they do every year. They'll just have a completely new lot of players coming and going.
Could happen. They've done it before. They might do it again. Okay, now let's go.
The Kings are the only team who make every auction a major auction.
Naughty. Very good.
Why did it take you so long to say that?
That's because the two of you have not been naughty today.
We've been very serious.
Yeah, you've been very academic and you've been very front benchers and there's seen no backbencher behavior at all. And honestly, I don't want to see any right now. At least not when we talk about Mumbai.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please stay in your lids and behave yourselves. All right, we'll talk about, of course, it's the biggest story, right? It is the biggest story. We had them as qualifying and they've come 10th. So basically, we've done what we did last year with SRH.
Yeah, we flops.
Yeah, this year we've done that with Mumbai. So next year
I had them as winning, not just qualifying.
winning.
I had them as winning. Because I just looked at that side and said, remember one thing we said right at the start, if all the energies, if all the forces are aligned, and all the forces are flowing together, this team is unstoppable.
Sir, I'll tell you something. It's no secret now. I guess everybody's talked about it so much.
Were the forces aligned? Were they flowing in the same direction?
Evidently, no. It looked like from the outside. The only explanation is that not everybody was pulling in the same direction, right? It was not everybody was rowing in the same direction.
So I'll tell you one.
With the same intensity.
Yeah. Don't want to interrupt you, but I'll just tell you. When you have lot of forces,
Yeah.
when they're all in one line, wow. But when they pull in different directions, there's big forces pulling in different directions. Now, we don't know if that was the truth. It looks like it was that way. But if giant forces are pulling in different directions, you got nothing there, no?
And that was my point, right? If that was happening, if there's such big personalities there's so much history, don't you think it's up to the management to just ensure that all conversations are had and all the wheels are oiled?
I think the big conversation that probably they might have missed is for Rohit to know and be a part of the process when they were getting Hardik.
Yeah, and it just seems, and again, we don't know this. It seems
clearly,
like
it seemed he got to know after the act was done.
And the reason why we say that is, and a lot of you may have missed some of our shows where we kind of reached this deduction, was because we've seen successions happen before with two big Indian players, MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli. Both of the times, well, with MS Dhoni, it's happened twice now. Once with Jadeja and took it back, right? And that seemed to cause less friction than this did, right? On the outside. So that was managed because probably communication, conversations, right, that happened. We saw it with Virat Kohli, who in fact was the one who put out a video saying, I'm giving out captaincy, right? We didn't see any of that with Mumbai, which is why we're thinking that that succession was not perhaps handled the best.
Absolutely. And a five-time winning captain.
Yeah.
So and not only that, Mumbai icon, 5-time winning captain, national captain. And I think Harsha said something, a few shows ago when we had spoken about this at the start of the season, that one of the things about it was the fact that also Rohit Sharma, how we perceive Rohit Sharma has had a sea change after 23. Yeah. After the World Cup in 23, the way Indians look at Rohit Sharma has changed. Because he was forget what happened in the 19th of November. He was an inspirational captain and he played selfless cricket and led his team as well as anyone could have led their team. So point is, the decision to maybe take Hardik or go after Hardik may have happened before that.
Yeah.
And that
it might have happened before, and all of a sudden, everyone's talking about Rohit Sharma. Now let's cast emotion aside. I love Rohit. Everyone loves Rohit. I don't think anyone who doesn't love. And look at Rohit Sharma's numbers over the last 6 years and this year too.
Yeah.
This year, was he upset? Was he disappointed? But was he Rohit Sharma this year? He's not come close to 400 runs again.
Yeah.
Now for 6 years, in the last 6 years, he's gone past 400 once. And that was 405, not 470, 480. So you look
this year he's done it. Yeah,
you look at Rohit Sharma and say he should be maxing this format, man.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yeah, missed 3 games.
Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, for whatever happened this year, one of the wow players in the IPL.
Ishan Kishan.
Did Tim David play this year?
Yeah.
We didn't notice.
Strike rate 160, 170.
Well, he was
everywhere
coming to
goes.
bat. I mean, they were saving him for the 21st over, it seemed like, because he was just never coming out to bat. Right?
That's a good one. That's
A lot of times that was happening with Tim David. So there was things.
Did they use Nabi?
Here's the thing: you can't blame it all.
Shepard came in first.
You can't blame it all on just the fact that this succession didn't happen correctly or did feel like it didn't fall into place. A lot of times we saw that there was tactically as well a lot of things like Tim David not coming out, Hardik's batting position again going up and down. There was a lot of things that we saw, that didn't seem to fit.
I have a lot of time. I've been criticized for that. A lot of time for Hardik Pandya, the player.
Of course.
I looked at Hardik this year. There he was, bustling with energy. Everything. And I thought, तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो, क्या गम है जिसको छुपा रहे हो?
It's a 1985 song. Look it up. It's beautiful.
Yes. And I got that feeling with Hardik. I said, was the impression that Hardik was giving, was that the true feeling inside him? And it's just that I don't know if everyone was happy. If in that change room everybody was happy, everybody was pulling together, this team was not 10, this team was maxing the top 4.
I tell you, I've seen, like I said before, seen Hardik with his GT team, with a younger team. He was fantastic. In terms of being a shepherd, he was really good with that team. And I remember us being we were so perplexed when he left that team because this was the first time such a big trade had happened within this 3-year
biggest
cycle,
trade,
right?
Biggest trade.
Yeah, it's the biggest trade that has happened in the history of this tournament. And I'm guessing that as we go along, it'll become less emotional and more people will see trades like this happening just like they happen in the English Premier League. Nobody really, people don't break a sweat or start crying when things like this happen. This time, yes, the fans all got I felt like the Mumbai fans just pushed it a little too much. I don't think that you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. You can't do that.
But nor can you tell them to behave.
That you can't at all. Yeah, you're not a school teacher.
Yeah, you're not going to tell them to behave. That's there, right? I have one other point to this, which is that, when we are looking at the situation, we always judge it by the fact of how Rohit felt and how that changes the dynamics of the team. Okay. What we don't realize is there's one more factor, actually two more factors. How did Jasprit Bumrah feel about Hardik being brought in as captain? How did Surya Kumar Yadav feel about it?
Okay.
Because those two also would have looked at it and said, yeah, Rohit's the captain. They'd always play under him. But they are both would fancy themselves as incumbents.
Yeah.
Now you've bought Hardik Pandya. You've not bought him for this year. You've bought him for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
They'll both look around and say, hold on. Weren't we the guys who were supposed to be the chosen ones after? So you've changed. You've managed to mess with the minds of 2 other guys.
Absolutely. I mean, and those are the 2 names that walk into an Indian team. And in all fairness, I don't know what Bumrah was thinking because Bumrah's a very intense, quiet person. Bumrah bowled like, wow.
Yeah.
Last year, without Bumrah, they qualified. This year, Bumrah had a wow season and they didn't qualify. What is that telling you?
6.48.
No, that's another planet.
Yeah.
6.48. In the death, at one point, he was 6.1. Those numbers come from another planet.
Yeah.
There are 2 players in this side who come from another planet. Surya Kumar Yadav, Jasprit Bumrah. Yeah. And still you don't qualify. Forget don't qualify, you finish at 10. And my concern for Mumbai Indians is at the end of the season, are you any closer to resolving the problem? What is Mumbai Indians going to look like next year? Is Mumbai Indians going to look like Hardik, Sky, Ishan, Tim David, Jasprit Bumrah, everyone all together again? What is Mumbai Indians going to look like next year?
Yeah, wow. That's anybody's guess, right?
I have no idea what it's going to look like next year.
If you had to retain one player, one foreign, one Indian, who would it be?
I've got, for the Indian, I've decided, it's Surya Kumar Bumrah. Because I can't make him.
That's good.
There's no other way to do this.
Naughty. I like it.
For the foreign players, actually, because it's equally a problem because nobody has really stood out. Because Tim David hasn't stood, definitely. Maybe he hasn't got the opportunities. I mean, Nabi, Romario Shepard, they all had small roles to play. There's really, if you look down the list of international...
Nuwan Tushara? Is Nuwan
Tushara
Tushara
perhaps,
going to be the player?
Perhaps Tushara is the player I'd look at. Tushara for the international, yeah.
Yeah, Nuwan Tushara is going to be the player and you give him the new ball. Him and Nuwan Tushara and Jasprit Bumrah taking the new ball. Is it going to be like the glory time when Malinga and Mitch Johnson were firing thunderbolts? Because now look, it's 4 years now that they haven't qualified. 2 years they've been at the bottom out of those 4.
Yeah.
And this is Mumbai Indians with that star-studded team. What happened to Ishan Kishan this year? Was he there?
No,
so there's a lot of those questions. That's why I think it's what Mumbai Indians do in the off-season is going to be absolutely crucial and critical, and it's going to be a good examination of what they think.
I hope they retain Hardik as captain. I genuinely hope so, because you otherwise it can really be, if you've backed yourself to that.
Yeah,
Are you going to lose him too then? If he's no longer captain next year, are you going to lose Hardik again? Has Hardik been the person that you thought he would be? Not the captain, but the person?
Oh, you mean the player in terms of bowling and batting?
No.
And the person who should galvanize the side together. Is Hardik loved? Is Hardik respected? He'll always be respected as a player. So we don't know answers to all these questions.
Interesting.
So I think all the work for Mumbai Indians is starting now.
Yeah, and there's a bit. There's a lot of work when you have to climb out from 10. But hey, it can be done. Hyderabad did it. Hyderabad has climbed from 10 right up top, playing the qualifier this year. So, yeah, it can happen. I've got a little rapid fire for you guys.
Oh, dear.
All right, ready? Oh, yeah.
Can we have one for you as well?
Yes, please. I'd like one. My favorite color is blue. All right, ready? Most watchable team this season.
My favorite color is blue.
For me, SRH. Sunrisers.
Sunrisers for you.
Team, yeah. Over season SRH, second half RCB. But,
okay. Favorite batter this season?
My favorite batter this season.
I'm going Abhishek Sharma.
Abhishek Sharma, really.
Oh.
I'm thinking Riyan Parag, but that's for another.
Okay, I'm going to just Jake Fraser McGurk. I just enjoyed watching him.
Berserk. Fraser Berserk. Favorite bowler?
There's only one.
Jasprit Bumrah.
Bumrah.
You could say Sunil Narayan again, but Jasprit Bumrah.
Are we going 3 thumbs up for Bumrah?
Bumrah.
Yes.
Bumrah.
Excellent. Uncapped Indian you loved?
So many, but Shashank Singh for starters.
Shashank.
I'm very tempted to go Riyan Parag. To me, it's a close call between Riyan Parag, Sai Sudarshan, and Abhishek Sharma. But Abhishek Sharma, just because of top of the order, he made you say, "Come look at me." Na?
Okay.
If Abhishek Sharma has to take this form into a higher peak, but for that to happen, that impact sub has to go and he has to start bowling again.
You've turned Abhishek Sharma into Christopher Nolan. Huh? All the awards you're giving him only. But other people also.
No, there were the one bad. Okay, we'll revisit the second question.
Yeah. Favorite match? Interesting.
How do you remember one?
There are lots, but I'll still go. I thought that Kolkata SRH match in Kolkata was a corker. The way the match changed from 95% win chance, there was 7 or 8% win chance to 95%, and then they lost again in the final over. That was quite something.
For me, it was SRH-RR. SRH-RR, where RR went off the cliff and SRH just went off.
Yeah. I think for me, it's RCB CSK from 2 days ago.
Oh, of course. Super. I mean,
we're all picking.
We are talking 70 games.
Yeah. So that's mine. Surprise player of the season.
Only one for me. Mayank Yadav.
Okay.
Because we knew nothing about him.
Yeah, fair enough.
There were many surprise players who went in the other direction.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, no. I'll go with Mayank Yadav as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. And the last question for both of you. What is the one thing...
Achha, why both? Just because you got the phone in your hand?
That's right. This is a question for both. And so
why not for you?
I'm just a messenger. I mean, Kalol writes these questions. The last question is the one thing you dislike most about the other person.
No. This is not. We're not having coffee on this program.
It's an actual question.
No, it's not.
Really,
we're not having coffee on this program.
I'll show you.
This is a cricket program.
The one thing you respect the most about the other person. Come on, let's see you fiction this up. Come on. No?
Look, to me, one of the lines of the season was opt-out clause. I have died laughing on that. Joy saying each player should be allowed to not play for one franchise.
Yeah, but they can state before that, no, I will not play. So
it's not in public, apparently. That's
secret.
Yeah.
But if there's no one franchise that's not bidding...
No, but a lot of
it's such a delicious thought.
The thing is,
everybody I've met, I've told it to.
So here's the thing: you'll never know because each player is bid for by 3-4 teams. So there's always 5 or 6 teams that are not bidding. So you'll never know because one of those is a team that's not allowed to bid. Right?
Correct, exactly.
But how it will show is that at the end of 100 players being gone, if one team only has 2 players. Because suddenly they were everybody's opt-out clause. And you're like, it's clear now.
So what do I like most about Joy? Here is this very erudite, poetry-loving, history-loving person, and he comes up with the most impish thoughts.
I've told you many times, CBSE Bhattacharya, is a naughty.
And
he's a naughty.
And desperate for a change of image.
Yeah. Who?
You see the picture on the Joy Factor? Who's that guy?
That's not my fault.
Who's
They
that
made me
guy
pose. They
on the
made
Joy
me
Factor
pose.
photograph?
Do you remember Macho Man Randy Savage from WWF? He had a saying, he says, twisted steel and sex appeal. Tower of power, too sweet to be sour, twisted steel and sex appeal. People who are above 85 years of age will know that reference.
How do you remember these lines?
I don't know.
That's what I admire. I remember these
Impressionable.
lines.
Impressionable child I was. Impressionable child. All right. We would like to opt out of the preview as well because we've been here for almost 2 hours, but
Correct.
apparently we can't contractually. We have to talk about the first qualifier, so we shall get excited. Let's go!
No,
It's the first qualifier.
Sorry, one last thing.
Yes.
Which is what surprised me the most this year. I didn't see it coming, and was who was on top of our guessing game. How did that happen?
GK!
And that to
Let's have
me-
a hand for GK.
No, that to me, you have to get the anti-corruption unit to see and examine how that happened.
Hold on. I'm trying to congratulate you on anti-corruption. We're going in two different directions, boss.
What did he say at the beginning?
The only corruption that I have is moral corruption. There is no fiscal corruption.
You can afford to get him angry because you eat vegetarian food and he orders less for you.
Correct.
I cannot afford to mess
I
with
did
him.
not see that coming.
Yeah, the next time you want a gluten-free vegetarian pizza, you'll just get the box.
No, the best order of the year was his veg sushi.
Veg sushi.
Order of the
Veg
year.
sushi. This is
Veg-
avocado.
I-
Veg sushi is like veg biryani. It
doesn't exist.
It's an
It's not a
abomination of nature.
That's right. An abomination. I like that. Before we go, I just want to tell you this season. You usually do bat versus ball. This season has been bat versus bat, and
Yes.
I know there was a graphic we had. You guys still have it right at the top that we wanted to play. I just want to bring that in as we round this off because this season has just been why we talk about level up. Look at it. The number of centuries hit 14, number one rank all season. Sixes hit the most. Run rate the most. Average power play score the highest, economy the lowest, right? Basically, I mean, it's the best or the worst because it's a batting game. The wickets, again, you see fourth and fifth respectively. It has just been a bat versus bat season.
This was the season where if you're a bowler and you're introduced, what do? I'm a librarian.
Yeah.
कभी कोई bowling कर लेता हूँ.
That's right. No, this is a tournament where in 70 matches, at least after 60 matches, the bowlers just came and said, क्या करूँ? Job छोड़ दूँ? करूँ क्या? Job छोड़ दूँ?
One of my moments
exactly
was
what happened.
Deepak Chahar telling me the street where सर सच बोलूं मुझे लग रहा है कि सच्ची कंपटीशन ग्राउंड्समैन के बीच हो रही है. इस 300 वाला पिच सबसे पहले कौन बनाएगा?
राशिद खान ने मुझे 5-6 साल पहले बोला था, कहते हैं कि मैंने ग्राउंड्समैन को बोला कि ये कैसे पिचेस बना रहे हो, छक्के छक्के लग रहे हैं. तो he said the groundsman said, अरे अगर छक्के नहीं लगेंगे तो क्राउड नहीं आएगा. तो राशिद said अगर इतने लगेंगे तो बॉलर नहीं आएगा.
Even Virat was saying the bowlers just don't know what to do under these circumstances.
Yeah, the best thing to do is
The great batters want great bowlers playing.
yeah.
So that their performance acquires greatest.
Love that line. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, there's great batters and great bowlers in both these teams that are playing the first qualifier. We're looking at Kolkata versus Hyderabad. The question is, do you put potato in biryani? That's the question, isn't
No,
it?
absolutely. This is Arsalan versus Paradise.
There you go.
This is Arsalan versus Paradise.
There you go.
Don't go there, Joy. Don't go there.
Sorry.
There's only one thing that can win. Kolkata, great fish, maybe great sweets, desserts, maybe. Don't get into the biryani because you're not going to finish second. You're going to finish 570.
Oh, stop
We
it.
will find out.
Come back.
KKR will play for biryani tomorrow. For the pride of Kolkata
Play for
biryani.
hilsa, play for prawn.
They will pray for the
big
pride of
tea.
Kolkata biryani.
I just want to get back
me.
to the meat of the matter. Not the potatoes. No potatoes. It's the meat of the matter. Because these two teams
I
have
love Kolkata, but you don't have biryani.
no potatoes, all right? No potatoes. No tater tots.
Chom chom, Rajgula, no.
Nothing. He's just
And
deciding
Rajgula's
the menu
Odia
now.
anyway.
Yeah, he's
And Rajgula's Odia
and
anyway.
he's refusing to go away from the point.
He's going to flood.
He can't talk about the team, so he's talking about the biryani. He's staying there.
Yeah, come on, let's talk about the team. The Kolkata team, they of course have one big miss, which is Phil Salt. There's no Phil Salt there.
You
Get
don't
back
need
from all
salt in
the sweets.
Kolkata biryani incident.
You don't need salt.
It's always balanced.
They can do it without? Can they do it without, Joy? Can they do it without?
It's interesting. See, I'd like to see how they tackle this problem. What I genuinely feel, there are two options. The straightforward option seems to be a one-for-one swap where you just get a Cricbuzz in there and you put him in there and you just keep the rest of the team as it is. I have one other option which I'd really like them to consider, because the way he's been moved around, and now that you've got Nitish back, how if you open with Venkatesh Iyer?
Okay.
Open with Venkatesh, and I'll tell you why. Because you've started strong. Venkatesh Iyer is a batter in form.
Yeah.
He'll still start strong with him. And then what happens is you slot in Gurbaz somewhere in the order, because you need that keeper as well. So you need him to come in. But that at least gives you a solid guy who's been batting.
Yeah.
You know, Gurbaz is going to
Delhi.
walk into a match. First match you play as a qualifier. It's not easy, man.
They needed to be a Delhi with 5 wicket keepers available to them.
That's right.
And then someone else could have kept. Because the perfect solution for them, absolutely perfect solution, is to play Sherfane Rutherford
Absolutely. And they love
for Phil
Sherfane
Salt.
Rutherford.
Sherfane Rutherford is a gun batter. Play Sherfane Rutherford, move Venkatesh Iyer to open the batting, play Sherfane Rutherford in the middle, and just tell everyone, one if you can keep. The problem is they have Narayan and Chakravarti, so they need a keeper.
They need a
That's
decent
right,
keeper.
yeah. Because the batters can't read him.
That would be the perfect answer. Play Sherfane Rutherford.
And that's the
Can he
first thing
keep?
I looked at. I said, because Kolkata is one of the few teams that doesn't have at least 2 or 3 keepers who are playing.
Yeah, they've got Phil Salt, Gurbaz, and KS Bharat. Right?
That's
so
it.
those are the keeping options
so
that they
Gurbaz
have.
has to play.
In terms of their bowlers, obviously these two doing the job, Mitchell Stark. I go back to what Harsha said a while ago when we were talking about the Knight Riders, where you said it's with big champion players like that, it's, come at the hour, come at the man. And you would, obviously, Kolkata would be leaning towards a Mitchell Stark saying, use all your experience and give this to us now.
If Mitchell Stark would be saying, 24 crores, this is the reason you bought me.
Yeah.
You bought me because we're now in the playoffs, and I will win you the playoffs.
Yeah, handling pressure that's a skill in itself that
He
not
has
too
to.
many have.
And what happens with championship sides? I mean, if you remember Chennai, they carried Shane Watson through a season. And then he comes and he wins the final for them.
And that 2018 was SRH's final all the way until Shane Watson suddenly got 100, right?
Yeah.
So and he had a very average season. So,
Yeah.
hey.
Can happen. On the other side, of course, is the second most expensive player in the history of the IPL, and he's captaining the Hyderabad team, who, as we have said, have probably played the most exciting cricket. It's a neck and neck with KKR, of course, and that's the reason why they are both playing this first qualifier. They finished 1 and 2. This team as well. Don't see any changes here? Do you?
No, my only worry about this team is what if they are 10 for 2? That's my only worry, because if they lose those 2 up at the top, that can happen.
Yeah.
So who's the person who's going to carry it through? One of the most impressive young players in this year's tournament is Nitish Reddy.
Amazing.
So maybe him, but I just worry a little bit if they get out till Klaasen. Is there somebody? That's my only worry for Sunrisers.
The thing about them is that they've just got to counter. Remember, the upfront, I still feel that if they get runs upfront, it's the middle. When Kolkata spinners put that chokehold on you, who's going to be the one to play them out of it? The best, I mean, one of the greatest players of spin is Heinrich Klaasen. But Klaasen is your only really class player against spin, because normally they had 2. They used to play Markram as well. Markram's not there.
They want a flat deck. They want a deck that will neutralize Narayan and Chakravarti. If they get a deck that is for Narayan and Chakravarti, then I think Kolkata's got too many aces up their sleeve.
Which, I mean, it's tough to ask both very strong teams, but looking at everything in context, advantage, any at all, to any team tomorrow?
KKR looking just the far more balanced side. And KKR has just got too many form players all the way. Now Nitish Rana comes into just too many form players all the way down. So at this stage, they're looking like the most complete side. But you know what? The last 4 games are a completely different animal from the first 70.
Yeah, that's true. And I just
Actually, the last 3, to be fair, because here there's at least a comeback available in this game.
Yeah.
It's a different beast, but now it's a different game.
That's right. The teams that finish 1 and 2 get 2 chances to go into the final. I like to say that rather than 2 bites of the cherry, which doesn't make any sense.
We all say all the time.
I
It's
don't
like
understand
momentum.
who's eating a cherry in 2 bites. It's so small. How and why are you eating a cherry in 2 bites? How much trouble are your teeth in if you need 2 bites? So yeah, to simplify, without using fruit in the example, it's you get 2 chances to get into the final, but you don't want to take those 2 chances. Obviously, you want to take the first chance and just jump up, take 4-5. I mean, you've been with a team that has won, and you know you want those 4-5 days. You just want to take it
It's
easy.
perfect for the team. You sit, you watch, you enjoy it, and it gives you a lull. Because see, the seasons are, I mean, every team has 1 4-5 day break, but other than that, it's really frenetic. So these 4-5 days before, just relaxes the team, just go play the final now.
The only thing I worry about with the Knight Riders is that they've just not had a game in a while, right? Because they've had 2 rained out games. So can you get rusty? Can you get a bit rusty?
Yeah, it's not easy. And not only that, because of those conditions, they wouldn't have been practicing also that much because they would have wanted to keep their players fresh and then the games haven't happened.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of a couple of things. So, and, that journey is also not an easy journey because you're going to go from Guwahati to Ahmedabad. Yeah, so it'd be a why. I don't think there'll be a direct flight. So all that, they wouldn't have had that much time.
Charter, sir, please. Why?
Charter.
This is why I tell you why. Don't bring middle class thought into upper class.
You're right. I should have thought of it.
Kenny, all his life thinking, I'm from Jadavpur, I'm looking at Pablo Neruda's works on the footpaths of
and I realized we've taken a charter in Kolkata. Why would they not take a charter?
Sir, Jawan and 2,000 crores in the last 1 year, sir.
Correct.
Come on. And this is a playoff. It's a qualifier.
Correct.
Please. Next thing you're going to be asking about buses and all. Like, what is this? Direct bus hai ya nahi wahan pe?
नहीं but AC 3-tier नहीं था, टिकट नहीं मिल रहा था.
अच्छा. Now he's going to ask, Ahmedabad का इतना बड़ा stadium है, I hope they get a direct bus to go to the stadium. Not to change twice.
Dude, I made a mistake.
You can have big
Do you have to sort of flatten me with it?
Yes.
You can have big debates in India Coffee House about that.
In Coffee House, we discuss important things like biryani, not these things.
Yeah, and whether you should have...
Because I've had coffee in India Coffee House and you don't want to.
Whether, I want to know from all of you.
I'm getting slack.
Potato in biryani or no potato in biryani? Give us in comment. Tell us. Please tell us. It's very important. Meanwhile, the meat and potatoes question to the two of you is a player to watch out for from each team.
Travis said naturally because he sets the tone for them. And I think on the other side, I think this is a match where they really need something from Sunil Narayan, both with ball and bat, because he just has a chance to influence it both ways.
Okay. For you, sir?
Travis had more than Heinrich Klaassen because they need to set the pace up at the top. So for me, definitely Travis Head. I still think Andre Russell, man.
Nice.
I still think, Sunrisers Hyderabad thinking, it's down to 50 of 3.5 overs. And Russell says, it's me, man. So,
Well, I think we should wrap it up because the toss has happened and the game is about to start.
No joy factor?
We've been on air for 24
No joy factor, no predictions?
the producer's not been screaming in your ear all the time?
I don't really listen to him, man.
I think we need to tell the producer that you shut it off early, just pull the wire off.
I stopped listening to him in 2020.
That's why
I haven't heard him since then.
I learned all my life, 25 years of anchoring, listen to the producer, see what he or she is saying.
You shouldn't have left it, sir. Things gone rubbish since you left it. Can't leave me in charge. ये तो गाँव लुट गया, पूरा बर्बाद हो गया. क्या करते हो? ऐसे डिसीजन लोगे सर तो फिर यही होगा फिर. अब तो देख लो, जो भी है हम ही हैं. 2 घंटे 5 मिनट हो गए हैं. अब अगर हमने शो खत्म नहीं किया,
मुझे पैक करना है जाके.
मेरे को टेबल पैक करना है, लाइटें पैक करनी है, स्टूडियो साफ करना है. आप जब से छोड़ के गए हो ना, बड़ी मुश्किल हो गई है यहाँ पे.
अच्छा, नहीं तो मैं साफ कर रहा था.
नहीं आप जब होते थे तो लोग होते थे ना आसपास, रिस्पेक्ट थी. कहते सर आ गए हैं, एसी ऑन कर दो, लाइटें ऑन कर दो, स्टूडियो साफ कर दो. अब मुझे कहते तुम्हें साफ चाहिए तो खुद कर दो. क्या बताएं अभी, क्या बताएं. जूनियर होने का यही होता है बस. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. We'll be here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Studio will be clean. Lights will be fresh. Background will be spanking. The TV will be all nice and bright. Huh?
Spanking?
Yeah, spanking.
मार रहे हो?
Spanking is an English word, sir.
अच्छा.
Spanking clean.
अच्छा.
CBSE Bhattacharya will teach you more. Yeah.
CBSE Bhattacharya.
As the Apichi Bengali, he will teach you a little more about the Neruda books that he has read on the footpath of Park Avenue. All right, but it's time for us to go.
Park Street, please.
Park Avenue, New York में?
नहीं, Park Avenue shirt होते हैं.
नहीं, Park Avenue, New York में.
अच्छा.
आप ये देखो, ये again, मैंने आप लोग को बोला है, international सोचो.
Middle class, फिर से.
Exactly. मेरे जोक्स भी जब देसी भी होते हैं ना, तब भी मेरी थॉट इंटरनेशनल होती है. देखिए, मैं सीधा पार्क एवेन्यू चला गया. ठीक है, वहां पे, और इन्होंने शर्ट बना दी. अब आप सोच लीजिए आगे, सोच लीजिए क्या सोच रहा है. कल मिलेंगे शाम को 7 बजे. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Cricbuzz Live. We'll have the show in English and in Hindi. Which one am I doing? I'll decide. Okay, I'll decide tomorrow. Big thank you to Joy Bhattacharya and Harsha Bhogle. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. We did a 2-hour, 5-minute show.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. 2-hour, 8-minute show. This is longer than any innings in any of these games.
So
we're going to be fined our fees. I'm going to be banned for tomorrow.
Gentlemen on the program were like Gaurav's prediction. 2 out of 3.
How much am I leading that chart? You guys have it? You guys have the chart? You have the guessing game chart? We just want to, since we've shown everything, just want to, yeah. So
Do you want to lead a chart where you've got 28 win percent?
yeah, but listen, you've done well. You're 21%. That's good. You've done well. You've got 1 in 5 right. That's good. I like it. Where's Joy?
My whole ambition was to be in the left.
Oh, Joy is just you're one position above Harsha.
So I'm the lowest of the 3 on this program.
I have one bullseye also.
Oh yeah, well done.
Moral of the story, South Africans don't do well in this game. Just put that chart up and you'll know why.
Oh yeah, they're both not even off the mark. There you go. Yeah, Pommy from South Africa. He's now from South Africa.
If we had to take the field, I mean, we've got Sehwag, Dool and Mike, but the right side would easily beat the left. Can you imagine Bhogle, Bhattacharya and Gaurav Kapur? At least Kher can play a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I would, of course, be the de facto captain
She's
of
at
the
a
side
disadvantage with 2 arms though.
Yeah, that's right. She plays well with one. All right, I can see one arm of the producer coming as well. Going, "Chal nikle yahan se, light band karni hai." All right, we got to go now. We're going to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching the
Third time he said that.
League Review Show. Wait, your line is coming. Be ready. Your line is coming. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live.
बातें कुछ भी
बेकार की।
हाँ, बेकार की बात। देखो भूल गया, अच्छा बोला था मैं 2 साल पहले।
मैं नहीं खेलता, मैं घर जा रहा हूँ। बताना चाहिए था पहले।
बेकार की बातें कर रहे हैं।
बाय। लाइट ऑन करो। बंद करो लाइट। Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें।